Listen on 105 FM, online at calonfm.com or via the TuneIn radio app. Follow us on Twitter at CalonFM and at Commentary WAFC. Wrexham AFC on Calon FM. Whenever, wherever. Calon FM. Calon FM.
Well, hello and welcome to the racecourse. We're Mark Griffiths and Lucy Scott, and we'll be bringing you full live commentary of Wrexham against Maidenhead as Wrexham look to maintain their push at the top of the table. Not only that, Wrexham look to bounce back after the disappointment of last Saturday, losing to Aldershot, a rare defeat for Wrexham, of course, and now they need to show a bit of character, bounce back and try to get back on the horse again. I've got to say, Wrexham's record after defeats this season is very good. They'd lost 5 games previously, and in the subsequent match, in 4 of those cases, they won the next game. The only exception being when they lost at Fylde, and then immediately drew 2-2 at home to Orient, which, frankly, that was a game that Wrexham should have won. They'd lost the lead twice, the only time this season that we have lost the lead twice. So, yeah, Wrexham have a decent record of bouncing back this season. Let's see if they can be so resilient again. Well, the teams... Interesting changes in the Wrexham side. 3 changes from the side that lost at Aldershot. James Jennings returns at left-back for Mark Carrington. In midfield, Akil Wright makes way. Marcus Kelly will shift inside, and Jack McCrath comes into the team. And up front, Scott Bowden replaces Alex Reid. So the Wrexham side, Chris Donegal, Kevin Roberts at right-back, James Jennings at left-back, Manny Smith and Sean Pearson, the central defenders. On the flanks, it's Jack McCrath on the right, Paul Rutherford shifting over to the left, Kelly and Sam Wedgbury in the middle, and up front, Bowden is partners by Chris Holroyd. The bench for Wrexham, Christian Dibble, James Hurst, Natumba Masanka, Mark Carrington, and Akil Wright. And well, Lucy, I mean, it's interesting changes. Quite an attacking look with Kelly in the middle as a creator and 2 wingers. It's you know, it's got more of a look of a side that's trying to get at the opposition, I think, hasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And like you said, I think it's more of an attacking team that he's put out with some speed on the wings. And a lot of people, I think, have been calling for Kelly to go into the centre for quite a while. So it'll be interesting to see this team in action, really. Like you said, I think they've thought about it they've really thought about it, and I'm sure Darlington's been a big influence in that sense as well, with the tactical decisions and the team selection.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, Carl Darlington is the tactical mastermind. When we played Kelly in the middle, we've looked a little more open sometimes. In that Orient game I mentioned earlier, where we had the lead and lost it twice, we played exactly this midfield setup, and I guess that's one thing Wrexham just have to watch out for. Kelly, in theory, might bring a bit more creativity, but you lose that big physical bustling guy in Akil Wright in the middle of the pitch.
Yeah, and I think Wright can be a little bit disappointed, to be honest. I actually think he's played really well recently, but as we've seen early on in the season, Carrington and Wedgbury were too defensive. They were sitting back too deep. Again, Darlington had said in his previous interviews they wanted to sort the defence first. That was part of their 2-year project, which I think they've done really well. And next, obviously, the midfield, which they've tweaked and they've played around with a little bit. And yeah, like I said, it'd be interesting to see today, obviously, with Wedgbury and Kelly in the middle. Wedgbury will obviously be on the defensive duties, but with Kelly, the attacking option going forwards.
And the other big team news, I suppose, because it's no surprise that once James Jennings is fit, he comes back at left-back, is that with Alex Reid now having gone back to Fleetwood, it's Scott Bowden who gets the nod ahead of Natumba Masanka. Masanka, who's come on as a sub in the last 3 games and had an impact, to be fair to him, but it's interesting that Bowden, the more experienced head, gets the nod in this case.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's to do with Masanka in terms of maybe not necessarily fitness, but maybe tyres, and he's a bit more of an impact player. He is quite quick, and so I'm not sure if they're going to use him as an impact sub. We haven't really seen too much of Scott Bowden this season to know, to be honest. I guess because Reid's been playing, and obviously Holroyd's been in superb form. So it'll be interesting to see Bowden in action as well, and actually maybe get a good run in the team.
The ironic thing, of course, is that, like you say, we've not seen much of Bowden, but he's actually started 9 games. But we still haven't seen much of him, and that has been a problem for him. He's not been able to get into the area and get into positions where he can finish things off. And I'm certain that Keats saw he and Holroyd as the attacking pair when he was recruiting in the summer. And the problem is that Holroyd has delivered, but Bowden yet to score a goal. And so I can understand the manager, who I think has hung his hat on Bowden being a goal scorer, wanting to give him as many chances as he can to start scoring and actually start to deliver for us, I think.
Yeah, and I think with Reid coming in as well, Reid, for me, started really well, had a couple of really good games, and then he faded a little bit as well. Again, I don't know why Keats maybe didn't switch it sooner, but it's interesting you've said that Bowden started nine matches, because for me, he hasn't really featured that much, so maybe a run in the team would be really good for him and for his confidence as well.
It's interesting as well, you mentioned Musanka and him possibly tiring, and that's a really interesting point. I suspect that may be part of why Wright's not starting as well, because we saw with Alex Reid that young lads come in on loan, and this league is wearing, and they may make an impact early on and then fade, and maybe that's the point where Wrexham now, we do the sports science, maybe they've looked at Wright's levels and felt like, okay, he's just fading a little bit at the moment, we need to give him a game off. We've got players like Kelly who can slot in the centre, so we'll give him a little bit of a break. Maybe with Musanka, or I can't help thinking of Paul Musanka, if you impress off the bench, that can often mean you stay on the bench, because the manager's thinking, that, as you said, that guy can make an impact at the end of a game, can't he? Yeah,
completely. And I guess maybe he's thinking as well, as teams tire Musanka's pace. He is a little bit unpredictable, isn't he? We have flashes of brilliance with not so great flashes, but interesting you mentioned sports science. I know that's an area that, again, we talk about Darlington, but that Wrexham have made huge strides in, and I know that when they play, they've got their heart rate monitors on. We really have improved, particularly since the Gary Mills era. We have improved significantly in just becoming more professional as well. And I know some of the players, such as Wedgbury, because he runs so much, they really do have to keep an eye on him so that he doesn't burn out from match to match. So maybe, like you said, maybe it's the same with Wright, because I think Wright's only 21, isn't he? He's a young guy as well, so it is it's managing them.
Yeah, absolutely right. Well, the management team have made some big decisions for this. Let's have a little listen to their thinking. So first we'll hear Ian Keats talking about in the build-up to this match, and then the redoubtable Manny Smith.
I'm Sean Pearson, follow Wrexham AFC on Calon FM.
This weekend, halfway through the season already?
Yeah, as you said, we're coming up to the halfway point, and it's gone okay. Happy with where we are, and it's only halfway.
Yeah, obviously a tough test back here at home as well. They're looking to essentially bounce back from Saturday. Yeah,
as you said, obviously we need to bounce back from disappointment down at Aldershot, but it's going to be a tough game. They're not too far outside the playoff positions. They're a hard-working team, very honest, organised, and they gave us a difficult game down there, so they expect the same.
Second loss in 17. Is there this week maybe about picking the players back up again, or is it just about going straight?
No, they're an honest bunch. They've trained well this week. Obviously we're disappointed, but we can't dwell on it too much. We've looked back at it, we've learned from it, recognised the mistakes, and obviously all being well, we can put that into place for the weekend and get some points.
Got a win away at Maidenhead. What do we do to prepare for this weekend?
It's just the same as any game. Obviously we'll look at them, what we feel their strengths are, and try and nullify them, and what we see as their weaknesses, and obviously trying to expose them. But as I said, it'd be a tough game.
Obviously Alex Reid's gone back on from his loan. Is there any working towards getting someone else in?
Yeah, we're trying, but ultimately we're under it's what other teams want to do with their players. So we can ask questions. There's been one or two possibilities, but then the injuries happened at the weekend that all of a sudden they're not available anymore. So we'll see what happens over the next few days.
And really disappointing news as well with Ollie Marks, obviously out on loan at Rushall. He's picked up that injury.
Yeah, obviously it's devastating for the young lad. Obviously he's gone out to get some games, and all the feedback and the reports we got back, he's been outstanding. They've won 4 out of 5 games he's played, and so obviously he's made a difference. But it happens, setback in his career, but it'll stand him in good stead going forward, and we'll make sure he's all sorted.
This weekend game is the first of 2 build the budget matches. It's a really good chance for the fans to raise money for the transfer kitty for you. Do you have a message for the supporters ahead of the game?
No, yeah, we just obviously we appreciate everything that we've done, not just for these 2 home games coming up, everything that's happened since the build the budget's started, and all being well, we can get a decent attendance. Obviously, we're still smack bang in the middle of everything, and all being well, decent attendance. Obviously, as you said, you can a few more people coming through the gate, adds a bit more cash to the build budget.
It's the latest of a long line of things the supporters have done for this football club, isn't it?
Yeah, just as you said, it's the latest of a long line. It's just many things, and obviously without the supporters, the football club's nothing, and all being well, we can give them something to be proud of.
Cheers.
Hello, we are Smith at Wrexham Calon FM.
Manny, Maidenhead this weekend. It's Matt, I think, halfway through the season already.
Yeah, it's gone quick. I think this part of the season is the most important part of the season now, where the game's going to come thick and fast, and it's a chance to stay at the top of the league and start separating.
Yeah, that's now. This is the point where we're going into that busy Christmas break, that this table's going to start to pull apart, and we want to be right in the mix, don't we?
Yeah, we know that around Christmas time and New Year's time, it's an important part for us, and when you're at the top of the table, I think it's very important to pick up wins and not draws or losses, and just to focus on yourselves and try not to worry about what other teams are doing, and just concentrate on your own game. So I think it's important for us that we try our best and try and put together back-to-back wins.
Yeah. Obviously, it was our second loss in just 17 games, which is an impressive feat in itself. But is it now just about bouncing back after the loss at Aldershot?
Yeah, it's not light losing. It was a difficult game for us. I think that they played well with their passing game, and they stuck to it, but I think we played a bit better second half. But I think if we approached the game how we did second half, first half, it would have been a different game. I think as a team we just got to carry on now and try and put together another run. We know what we're capable of, and we know how we play on our day, especially when we play at home as well. With Maidenhead coming up, I think it's going to be a difficult test for us again. I don't think it's going to be an easy test, but it's a chance to get a win back for us.
You mentioned you know what we're capable of. We're capable of beating Maidenhead. We did that back in August at a memorable game for yourself, 2 goals in a game.
Yeah, it'll be a different game round this time. I think they know we've had a little defeat, so it's going to be important for us to just put a good performance in front of our own crowd and try and get back to winning ways.
Yeah, and of course it's always important just to pick these points up when you go into such a busy period, and it's essentially just try and draw ourselves away and pick up as much confidence as we can, and just going into this really, really busy time.
Yeah, I think the gaffer's already said, just don't worry about whatever everyone else is doing or what everyone else is playing, just concentrate on what we're doing. We're the only people that can affect what we're doing. We've just got to take it one game at a time and just believe a bit more and just try and get the wins that we know we can get.
And of course there's the start of the build the budget games that are coming up, the Maidenhead game and the Dover game, where anything over a crowd of 3,900, that money goes straight into the manager's kitty. It's just another in a long line of what these supporters have done for this football club, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's massive. I think teams that come here to step out onto the pitch and to see how big the crowd is, and they see how loud they can be, and to know it's a well-run club, and they know what it means to the fans, and the fans they come out in their numbers and they get on our backs and really push us forward sometimes. I think it's important for us that we try and get as many numbers filled as we can. I think this is the closest we've been for a long while, and I think sometimes the crowd can be like, well, the 12th man, can't it? So it's important just to get the numbers up and try and get us over the line a bit more.
That's it.
I'm Chris Holroyd, follow Wrexham AFC on Calon FM.
So there you are, Manny Smith and Dean Keats looking forward to today's game. And the teams now are out on the pitch. So let's go through those sides again. Wrexham of Chris Dunn in goal. At right back, Kevin Roberts. At left back, James Jennings. The 2 central defenders are Manny Smith and Sean Pearson. In the centre of midfield, Marcus Kelly and Sam Wedgbury. On the flanks, Jack McCreth and Paul Rutherford. And the front, Scott Bowden and Chris Holroyd. So 3 changes. Jennings, Bowden and McCrath coming in to an attacking-looking side. The substitutes for Wrexham, Christian Dibble, James Hurst, Natumba Masanka, Mark Harrington and Akil Wright. As for Maidenhead, who got an admirable draw against high-flying Macclesfield last Saturday, they've made a couple of changes. Carl Pentney is in goal. Across the back, Ryan Peters, Remy Clerima, Alan Massey and Rennie Steer. In midfield, in the centre midfield, a familiar face, Christian Smith, the old Wrexham midfielder, alongside Ryan Upwood. On the flanks, Harold Osamati and Harry Pritchard. And up front, Jake Hyde and Adrian Clifton. Although I will give a warning there that Alan Devonshire, the Maidenhead manager, tends to be quite flexible in the formations he uses, so he could use those players in a different shape. Osamati certainly is a player who can play in the centre as well as on the flanks, so we'll keep you posted if there's a change to how they're lining up to counteract Wrexham. The subs for them, interesting players on the bench. Moses Emmanuel on loan from Sutton has scored goals at this level. Sean Marks has scored goals at this level against Wrexham as a big target man. Nana Owusu, Nick Hammond and Max Kilman are their substitutes. The referee is Mark Edwards, and the captains are now getting the pleasantries out of the way. Remember, you can get in touch with Lucy and I on hashtag ASKWXM, that's hashtag AskWrexham on Twitter if you want to chat about things, or indeed keep me awake. I've been awake since 7 o'clock yesterday morning. You'll find out why at half-time, and I have a little pre-record for you to listen to about just why that is and why it links into what Wrexham Football Club are all about. But anyway, I'll keep you on tenterhooks for 45 minutes. The teams are, well, Wrexham are ready in their home kit, red shirts, white shorts, white socks. Maidenhead have gone into a huddle, so I'm not sure pleased the referee. They are also in their home kit, white and black striped shirts, black shorts, black socks. And now we are about to get things going here at the racecourse.
I'm Marcus Kelly. Follow Wrexham AFC on Calon FM.
It's the game between the side that play at the oldest international stadium in the world and the side who have played at their home ground longer than any other team in the world. That's Maidenhead United, who've been at York Road for longer than anyone else in the world, obviously. As the start, Wrexham kick off towards the Kop, and Christian Smith breaks things up and thumps out for a throw on the halfway line. Maidenhead has conceded more goals in the first 10 minutes than any other team in this division, so need a fast start, I think.
How many have we scored there in the first 10 minutes?
Oh, that'd be very, very nice. Throw-in taken, and Bowden's turned his man nicely, but good cover by Clerima, clears to the halfway line. Lovely lay-off by Hyde, and now here's Clifton running at Pearson towards the edge of the Wrexham area. On his right foot, it's a shot, takes a deflection, Dunn goes down low to his left, saves it pretty comfortably. The deflection altered the pace of the direction of the ball, but took the pace off it. But a promising start from Maidenhead. Long ball forwards, Bowden flicks it on well. Holroyd can't quite latch on to it. The surface is wet, and I think it looks like it's going to be a slick, fast game, I think, Lucy, straight away.
Yeah, and hopefully that'll suit us with the team that we put out and the formation we've gone with as well, so hopefully that'll benefit us.
As Maidenhead knock it over the top, and it's dealt with by Manny Smith, but in midfield, Christian Smith has it in the centre circle. Heavy touch by him. Sam Wedgbury does well to come in and tackle him. The crunching challenge on him then by Smith, but Wrexham get the loose ball. McCrath pops it inside to Holroyd on the halfway line. Back to Roberts. Wasn't the best pass. Roberts does well to shift his feet out and then step back on himself to make a bit of space, and Wedgbury pings a switch over to the left-hand side. Jennings on the halfway line immediately is closed down, rolls it forwards. Holroyd in midfield, poor touch by him. Has to go backwards to Jennings. Jennings on the halfway line once more. Wrexham building patiently. Kelly switches again to the right. Wrexham shifting it from side to side, trying to drag Maidenhead about. It's on the right hand side, but McCready does well to get out from between his feet and run at his man, but good defending by Steer, who tackles and knocks it long. Pearson gets tight on Clifton, and although he doesn't win the header, he's ensured that nobody can run onto it, and Jennings tidies up. Kelly closed down. Ooh, Christian Smith looks to a foul. Kelly refs gives nothing, and here's a breakaway edge of the area. Clifton takes the shoot, lays it off. Christian Smith slashes it into the seats. Poor effort. Looked like a clear foul on Kelly, who's right in the referee's face complaining about it, but that was a chance to break away there.
Yeah, and Clifton's had a couple of chances within the first few minutes where he's been able to hit the defence, and to be honest, that was a chance for them, wasn't it? Absolutely.
Christian Smith on his left foot, his favoured foot, slashed at it wildly and hit it wide from 25 yards, but Yeah, Maidenhead. Oh, I've got to make sure I don't call them Maidstone all through the match, haven't I? Maidenhead are working very hard off the ball. They're pressing really hard, and they've had a couple of moments of danger already as Jennings knocks it over the top. Calon hits it clear. This Christian Smith wins the header against Kelly. That's an aerial mismatch, but it goes out of play for a throw to Wrexham. Fielded by Andy Davis on his own in the bench because Dean Keats is suspended and up in the stand, and Carl Darlington hasn't replaced him on the bench. He stayed up in the stand as well, so Andy Davis is a little bit lonely down there. Throwing to by Jennings, he slams it off Odometi, and Pearson plays a poor pass forwards. Odometi pops it in, trying to turn to the fence. Smith tidies it up. The only difference Maidenhead's setup is that Odometi is playing in the middle and upward on the right, and essentially Smith is holding in a 4-4-2. Odometi tries to get ahead and support the strikers, a quick attacking player. Dunn knocks it long, Rutherford jumps, and it comes backwards off ahead of Peters, throw to Wrexham, 25 yards out. Wrexham do need to try and get a foothold in the Maidenhead's half here, don't they? Yeah, definitely, and I think it's clear what the tactic's going to be early on. They've switched quite a few times already, so I think that's what we're going to be looking to do. As Jennings has to throw in 25 yards out, throws it into Holroyd, who turns inside. Odometi tackles him well, 50-50 in midfield, so Wedgbury can't quite get there, but Smith intercepts the forwards pass by Pritchard, and as well to find Robertson space on the right. Rutherford is demanding it down the line, receives it 30 yards out. Roberts goes on the outside, inside to Wedgbury, instead the switch is on, help square to Kelly. Jennings in space on the left, Kelly feeds it quickly across to him. Jennings now taking on his man, back inside to Kelly. Maidenhead quickly got bodies behind the ball, and now it's Wedgbury 35 yards out looking for the room to pass it forwards. He can't find it. Kelly takes over. Holroyd's dropped deep. Rutherford's running over the top. Holroyd doesn't use him. Lovely run that by Rutherford, though. Reminiscent of that last home game when he was terrific on the right-hand side. Here he is now. He's popped up on the right, even though he's playing on the left because of that good movement. McCrath taking on his man, nutmegs him, runs into the box, but he's outpaced. And Clenima is able to clear it in his own 6-yard box. Then Marcus Kelly badly misjudges the bouncer, spins forward. Clifton brings it down on his body. The fans shout for handball. The players don't. And now it's a chance for Upwood to break forwards. Feeds it into the feet of Hyde. He gives it away. Wedgbury's done well. Skips past his man, Rutherford. Back to Jennings. Such good pressing, though, by Maidenhead. They force Wrexham back into their own half. Wrexham are composed and keep hold of the ball, but Maidenhead are really working hard when they haven't got it. Here in the halfway line's Roberts, and again he's pressed and has to go backwards. Manny Smith. Their energy is impressive as Pearson, cute little ball to halfway line. Wedgbury's got no space, back to Pearson, knocks it over the top, looking for the runner Bowden, who's chasing after it. Peters just about gets there first, goes down very easily and gets a free kick. I mean, okay, if you're going to give that, but there've been a couple of challenges on Kelly that Wrexham would argue are more clearly fouls that weren't given, weren't they? I think the defender was actually already falling by the time Bowden even got next to him. But no, that was a good ball over the top there from Pearson, and Bowden actually looked really quick then. Yeah, I've got to say, I'm looking at Peters, the player that he would suck at right back, and I don't know, is that muscle or something different? Because he looks very chunky, and yeah, Bowden's no sprinter, but he burst past him. I didn't think that was his ball to get to. And they've got a couple of chunky players, actually. Yeah, Smith is no supermodel. Big guy, yeah. Works it over to the left-hand side, and here can Maidenhead forwards once more. It's a chance maybe for a cross, swung in towards the edge of the area. Kelly gets a foot to it and deflects it into the box. It drops loose. Manny Smith will get there first, clears it. Holroyd on the halfway line is muscled off it. No foul given. Wrexham feel that was as much contact as Bowden had on Steer, and now here's another opportunity. Pitcher to the cross, takes deflection, goes behind for the corner, and Holroyd now is chasing the referee. He's maybe a bit inconsistent. Yeah, and Pearson's rightly saying to him, how can you give the foul against Bowden but miss the ones against Kelly and the one there against Holroyd? So he has been very inconsistent so far. I think it's a fair argument, but now he has to focus on defending this set piece. Corner left-hand side. Pritchard drills it in flat at the near post. Pearson volleys that away well. He did concentrate on it. McCrath, though, can't win the header. So again, it's bobbling around on the edge of Wrexham's area. Massey, the centre-back, tries a back heel to get to a touch of a Wrexham player. And Wedgbury does really well sliding in to just about hook it out for a throw by the corner flag rather than the corner. But Maidenhead will be by far the happier team thus far. They've really smothered Wrexham, and they've had some attacking threat. 8th minute here on Calon FM. It's Wrexham 0, Maidenhead United 0, but Wrexham started slowly, struggling to get past Maidenhead's smothering presence. Throw and taken short. Pritchard slams it off a defender for a corner. Again, Wrexham can't believe this. The corner's given. And Pearson sprints at the referee to have a go at him. I don't know. Impossible to tell from up here, but Wrexham seemed livid by that decision.
Yeah, none of the Maidenhead players asked for it, and the linesman over here didn't flag. He didn't know.
Well, Pritchard will take the away swinger, floats it towards the 6-yard box, headed into the goalmouth. Great save by Dunn. Oh, that was a good stop by him there. It was dinked in towards the penalty spot. I think it was Christian Smith who got the header on it. It was heading towards the bottom left corner, and Dunn did really well to get down and push it away. It's been put out for another corner, but Wrexham are really having to dig deep here. Another corner from Pritchard then. He floats it into the same sort of area. Dangerous foul given to Wrexham. Wonder if maybe the referee is just making sure nothing actually comes from his controversial decision there.
Very ironic cheers, I think. I think it was for a block on Dunn for a foul. But referee so far has been very inconsistent. Hopefully not a sign of things to come.
Oh, in this league, it's definitely a sign of things to come, isn't it? I'm afraid. Anyway, Dunn has saved Wrexham there with a really good save low to his right. Here he takes the goal kick. Doesn't have enough strength on it though, and so Christian Smith clears. Jennings knocks it over the top, and Peters will run it behind for a throw to Wrexham, level the edge of the area, right hand side. Remember, you can get in touch on Ask Wrexham on Twitter, ASKWXM, if there's anything you want to ask us about the match. Peters will take the throw, and he's stealing a couple of yards. The fans point it out. Good throw to the halfway line. Good distance on it. Jennings can only flick it backwards. Rutherford and Jennings scrap to try and win it back. Jennings goes down. Ref right, and I'll give a foul then because Rutherford knocked him over. Bowden works it to Holroyd, left-hand side. Difficult ball to tame, but he's brought it down, and he switches well now. Roberts in space on the halfway line. Rutherford's immediately gone wide to offer an angle and receives it. 25 yards out. Rutherford knocks it past his man, tries to do him for pace, can't quite manage it. It's solid defending by Steer, and he's knocked it off Rutherford as well. But looky there, Rutherford, he looked quicker than him, but he managed to get his body in the way so he couldn't get round him.
Yeah, definitely, and I think Rutherford's been told, as soon as you get the ball at your feet, try and get past the defender and get the ball in the box. But interestingly there, Holroyd had made a really good run into the box, but I don't think Roberts had seen him.
Yeah, Roberts is looking first and foremost for Rutherford, and he gives that angle.
Yeah.
Throw in taken, flicked on, throw to Wrexham, about 10 yards into the Maidenhead half, right-hand side. Roberts takes it quickly inside to Holroyd. Back to Roberts, left-footed, scoops it forwards. Bowden flicks it on really well. Rutherford in another chase now with the fullback Peters. Has he won the corner? Yes, he has. Well, that was good work all round, wasn't it? Peters then. Peters runs into the advertising hoardings and falls flat on his back, right next to Rex the Dragon, who dives on the floor impersonating him. Oh, I'm noting down the time of that for YouTube. That's going up tonight. That was beautiful. Top mascot work.
I can't stop laughing. That was great from Rex.
So Kelly will swing in the corner from the right-hand side. Great work by Bowden and Rutherford to win this corner. Swung under the bar. Keeper struggling to get there. Good punch by him. Looked like it may have been fouled. Referee doesn't give it though, and it's cleared to the halfway line where Wedgbury shows excellent strength, shoulder to shoulder with Hyde to clear it, and it's slashed out of play thanks to some pressure from Jennings. Through into Wrexham about 35 yards out, left-hand side. Wrexham though struggling to get a foothold going forwards here. Throw in taken back to Jennings by Holroyd. He wins another throw in. Half over to Macy. He's gained about 5 yards. Rutherford is down the flank. Jennings can't take it early because it slips through his hands. He's retrieved it now. Holroyd receives. Brings it down and works it back into midfield. Wedgbury looks over his left shoulder, then decides to switch it to the right. Roberts on the halfway line. Plays a progressive ball. Good ball to Bowden. Oh, his touch let him down. It was a lovely ball by Roberts that. Shane Bowden couldn't take it in his path.
Yeah, really good run. All of them, all of the top four have looked really, really lively, making some really good runs.
It's just whether they're getting the ball, isn't it, really? It's Wrexham struggling to get through that midfield net and find him. Here's Kelly, that's a good ball to Bowden, 20 yards out. Well, again, he's under pressure. Throws it wide. I think he was looking for Holroyd. He found Roberts. Here is Holroyd now. Plays a ball that never to give Wedgbury a chance. And Odometi breaks it up, and Wedgbury clearly clips him. Free kick. The Wrexham fans don't like it. Wedgbury doesn't bother complaining. He just jogs back to the halfway line. So it's... thus far, 12 minutes gone here on Calon FM. Maidenhead will be the happier, I think. Wrexham 0, Maidenhead 0. They work extremely hard when they haven't got the ball, don't they?
And it's been very fast-paced as well, hasn't it? Wrexham really haven't had much time at all. And I think some of the, like Bowden's touch there probably was because he was under a lot of pressure and quickly.
Throwing a free kick taken, Clifton wins it well, but Hyde can't get onto it. Dunn comes off his line and grabs it easily. Yeah, there's so little space when Wrexham have the ball. Can they turn Maidenhead's defence and drive them back with balls over the top? Ball played in for Bowden, good strength by Clerima. Beats him in the air, throw into Wrexham on the halfway line, left hand side. Bowden's made a run to try and stretch the defence back. Jennings throws it short to Holroyd. Jennings right-footed over the top. Bowden tries to beat him. He's a man for pace again, and Peters uses his bulk this time to win a goal kick. But you can see again, Bowden, if he could have got round his man, would have been quicker than the right-back Peters. But again, as we said before, Peters is quite a big object, isn't he? It's hard to get round him.
Yeah, and I think he was really cautious after last time. Any contact, he was just going to go down anyway, and there'd be a free kick. So he was trying to go the long way round. Just couldn't get round him.
Peters is... Look, it's like a big settee dropped in the middle of a room. You have to go quite a long way around to get past it. And that was Bowden's problem then. He was clearly faster than him. There's not much pace in that Maidenhead defence apart from Clerima in the middle. Oh, it's good footwork by Hyde, who works on his right-hand side. But here's Wrexham pressing hard. Jennings and Rutherford scrapping and winning it back. That's good. Kelly back to the edge of his own area. Pearson winded himself up for a long clearance, and then it turns out he was just a bit of a fake to full upwards. He carries it forwards and then tries to split the defence. Good defending by Steer to get back run by the left back, Steer to get it clear. Knocked up to the pitch, laid off nicely by Clifton. Here's danger. Christian Smith going forwards again, works it wide, loads of space for Pritchard, who drives it into the goal mouth. It's deflected just wide for a corner. Oh, that was dangerous. He was trying to drive it across to the face of goal to the far post. The deflection took it to the near post. I don't think Dunn got a hand to it. He reacted very quickly. I think it just hit the side netting inches from the near post and went behind it. Lucky escape for Wrexham, that.
Yeah, and the wing had loads of space there behind Roberts. I think Roberts has pushed up far too high. And that was another chance for them.
Flat corner. It's nicked away partially, and it's good pace by McCrath on the halfway line to get there. He's got absolutely no support though, and he's dispossessed by Christian Smith, who works the ball back deep into his own half. Cleared by the keeper, Pentney. Hangs in midfield. Wedgbury beaten to it in the air. Roberts heads it clear. Wedgbury hooks it round the corner. Rutherford can't challenge because he's offside. Massey heads it away into midfield. It bounces beyond Pritchard. Roberts off balance as well to get it away. Now Wrexham have it in the middle of the pitch. Kelly swiftly to Jennings. Wrexham need to move this ball quickly before the press digs in. Jennings, that's a nice little pass. Rutherford, cute vision, finds Holroyd running to the centre. Oh, he slices his shot from 25 yards. It was an ambitious place to take the shot from, and he sliced it well wide. You just feel maybe Wrexham snatching at chances like that because they expect the challenge to come in any moment because Maidenhead are so energetic off the ball.
Yeah, because they're so under pressure. I think Holroyd could have taken that a little bit further actually as well, but as he's taken his shot, it bounced up a little bit funny, and he's kind of fluffed it, mistimed that. But it was a really good play, really good build-up between Rutherford, Bowden, and then to Holroyd. A little bit more promising.
Goal kick taken by Pentney, towering header by Pearson, turns the defence, and luckily for Wrexham, it's Clerima, the quick one out the back four, chasing it, so he gets there ahead of Bowden, and it's cleared to the half lane. Manny Smith, great header, gets it away ahead of Clifton. Rutherford beaten to his in the air, but quick ball by Kelly finds Rutherford. Jennings, pass deflected to Rutherford. Lots of no space there for him at all. Little drag back as he tries to take on his man. Is he unlucky in the end? Throw-in goes Maidenhead's way. Wrexham fans feel that Peters went down rather dramatically. The throw-in's given rather than the free kick. But again, that illustration, there's just no space, is there, when Wrexham try and come forwards?
Yeah, completely. I mean, they're just really crammed in. Wrexham do need, I know they started trying to switch quite a bit. We need to do that more, just get the ball moving a bit faster. Exactly.
Throw-in taken. Rutherford as well to win it in the air. It's knocked forwards again by Peters. McCrath here in the centre circle. Holroyd spreads to the right-hand side to Roberts. McCrath isn't ahead of him at the moment, so Roberts holds onto it and then pokes a cute little ball to Holroyd, who's dropping off and trying to find space in the hole. Wedgbury does well to get beyond his man, switches to Jennings. The ball's just behind him, but Jennings retrieves it, and he's got a chance to run at the full-back here. Swings an early ball in, headed away well by Clerima. It drops in the middle of the pitch. Kelly spreads to Roberts. McCrath is demanding it on the right-hand side and receives it. Pops it back to Roberts. Wedgbury's popped up in the hole. Is dinked down the line. Ambitious ball by Roberts. McCrath as well to head it on, but there's no real hope of him finding a teammate. Poor clearance though, and Wrexham can start again from the halfway line. But Kelly turns under pressure, has to work it backwards. Manny Smith will have to go back to his keeper as well. So again, Maidenhead just keeping their shape, showing good energy. Will they flag as the game goes on, perhaps? Kelly splits the centre-backs and draws out Christian Smith. And the ball goes back to Dunn. Dunn walks up to the edge of the box. Not much height in this Wrexham team, of course. He'll drive it long, looking for Bowden. He can't challenge for that. Clerima is able to volley it clear. Roberts nods it on towards the halfway line. Easy header away for Christian Smith. And in Hyde as well to Pearson, but Kelly chests it back to Jennings. Jennings, driven ball, looking for Bowden. Good strength, good touch, holds on to it. Wants a free kick as Christian Smith knocks him to the floor. Referee says not. I'm inclined to agree. Oh, hang on. Mistake by Christian Smith, and Wedgbury lunges in. Terrific tackle. Now, here's an opportunity. Holroyd is offside, surely. Flag stays down. 3 against 1. Holroyd drives 1-0. Very, 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 very controversial, that. Wrexham take the lead. But wow, Chris Holroyd scores, driving it through the keeper's legs. But there were 2 calls there for a foul, firstly in midfield, and then Holroyd, well, to me, looks half a yard offside. I'm not complaining. Wrexham take the lead.
Yeah, I've got to agree. I thought he's clearly offside, but again, not going to disagree because normally they don't go our way. And yeah, clear foul in front of us on Bowden. Referee said no. And then play carried on. Wedgbury did really well to win the ball back. And a nice ball through from Rutherford, and brilliant strike from Holroyd. He's clinical in those positions. And to be fair, I would say probably quite unfair to Maidenhead.
Oh, yeah. I mean, against run of play. Well, let's be fair, Wrexham, well, okay, that's what depends how you look at it. Wrexham have worked hard to try and carve out opportunities and been persistent, and they finally got through.
For Wrexham. First clear chance.
Yeah.
Maidenhead did have a couple of chances early on, but you're right, Wrexham haven't been poor as such. They just haven't had very much time on the ball.
But if I was Alan Devonshire down there, I wouldn't be happy. I would be arguing whether Wedgbury fouled his man. It was a crunching tackle. I mean, credit to him for going in like that, but it was a hard tackle. And then, yeah, as you say, when Rutherford helps it on to Holroyd, for me, Holroyd's gone too soon, but the flag stayed down. It was 3 against 1. Holroyd didn't pass. He just drove it through the keeper from the right channel, and Wrexham had the lead. But here, straight away, come Maidenhead on the right-hand side, upwards of the cross. Jennings takes it on the chest easily and cleverly finds Kelly, who drives it forwards. Holroyd's beaten to it by Clerima. Bowden's chasing for that lunging tackle by Upwards, wins the ball back. A gasp from the crowd, because if he hadn't got that right, he could have been in trouble, Upwards, but he did get it very cleanly right. And then the ball's driven harmlessly forwards for a goal kick. Well, Maidenhead are one of the just 4 teams this season who've actually come back from a goal behind against Wrexham, because Wrexham usually, when they take the lead, are able to close things out. But Maidenhead have shown that sort of resilience, and what they've shown so far has certainly shown that they've got a threat, haven't they?
Yeah, definitely. And I don't think their league position's actually a true position. I think they're actually lower than probably what they should be.
It was Wrexham coming forward. Rutherford's won it well. Now here's Bowden, edge of the energized right-footed shot. It's over. Good effort by Bowden. Well, Rutherford did ever so well there, winning the ball back and helping it on. And Bowden, snapshot from 20 yards, just over. He desperately needs that first goal, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. Yeah, and I think McCrath had made a good run on behind him, but I think Bowden, in his mind, like you said, really wants that first goal, and that really helped his confidence.
It's ironic, isn't it? You know, Wrexham want to create, but actually we are making chances by our own pressing, by winning the ball in the Maidenhead half. We scored a goal through Wedgbury's tackle. We just had a good shot skimming the bar thanks to Rutherford's tackle. So ironically, Wrexham are now starting to make chances by doing to Maidenhead what Maidenhead are doing rather well to us. Throwing 20 yards out to Maidenhead, right-hand side, and Peters has made his way up. He's got movement in Clifton, who volleys it back to him. Early cross is a dangerous one. Back to goal. Hyde can't quite get the turn in for the shot. And so Wrexham have a chance to break now. Wedgbury pokes it on. Holroyd in the centre circle. Ooh, Maidenhead's defence has pushed him a bit too high. Holroyd can't turn to play the killer ball, but he's spread well to Rutherford. In space on the left. Maidenhead for the first time just flagging a bit. Good ball in this hole. Kelly tries a return ball. It's ambitious towards Rutherford, and he can't quite make it. Peters just gets there first and runs it behind for the goal kick, and then hits the deck again and asks for a foul. Again, the referee's not interested. But we're just starting now to stretch Maidenhead and find space in their half.
Yeah, we are. And Rutherford there, he actually played the ball early across to Kelly when Christian Smith was chasing him. And for me, Rutherford really could have taken Smith on there, because there'd be no comparison for pace.
Goal kick taken. Clifton wins his elbow in the back of the head, I thought, to be honest. Devon's just not happy. Don't blame him. Pearson jumps and seemed to catch Clifton. Not malicious, but a foul. And now Jennings will run the ball out of play for a throw to Wrexham, 10 yards out from his goal, left-hand side. Remember, you can get in touch with us on hashtag ASKWXM if you've got anything to ask us about the game. Throw in, which Jennings will take. Just looking at his options, and in the end throws down the line looking for Bowden. Doesn't find him though. It's Odometi poking it on, long range shot, a great strike, done with a good acrobatic parry. Pritchard it was, he drove it. It was a real surprise shot from 25 yards out. A poor mistake by McCrath. He's given it away in his own half. Cross comes in, Dunn attacks it, takes it comfortably. Another good save by Dunn, who wants to release quickly and does in the end, out to Jennings. And Jennings has got Rutherford herring down the flank. Trouble is, again, Maidenhead closed down quickly. Jennings feeds a good ball forwards halfway, and Bowden holds it well. He's had a decent start, Bowden. He lays it back into midfield. The fans are very deliberately applauding him, I think, trying to give him a bit of a boost. Here's Holroyd dropping off again. His movement's been good. He works it back to Roberts. Maidenhead again start to press. Wedgbury on the halfway line with 3 white shirts around him. Squares it off to Roberts, who pops it back, and Wedgbury's found a little bit of breathing space. Holroyd's dropped into his own half, demanding it. Kelly's there. Kelly drives over the halfway line. Jennings wants it. Kelly's going on himself. Now he squares it into Jennings, 30 yards out on the left-hand side. Maidenhead's midfield very deep. And Wrexham are working a little triangle down the left-hand side. Good strength in there by Clerima, heading it out of play. Throw to Wrexham, 25 yards out. We're just starting to move it around, passing a bit slicker, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. And again, just special mention to Rutherford, who has not stopped running. There was space on the left because Rutherford had made a run across the back and actually freed up that space for Bowden to run into.
Jennings throws it to Holroyd, edge of the area, 2 men on him, but he works it backwards to Kelly. That's good. Wrexham again building. This is a good spell, this, for Wrexham. Since the goal, they've got back on top. Well, back on top for the first time. They're on top. Roberts forwards. That's asking a lot of Bowden. He can only flick it behind for the goal kick. So Wrexham 1-0 up here on Calon FM. 25th minute, Chris Holroyd again. Top scorer by some distance. When you think he missed a big chunk of the start of the season,
yeah,
he's doing very well, isn't he?
I'd love to know his actual percentage in terms of chances to goals scored.
Yeah.
I would think it'd be quite high.
He's certainly got a good scoring rate. 7 goals in his 14th start in the league this season as Jennings controls it in his chest. Oh, it's a bad back pass, and there's Hyde one-on-one with the keeper, and he puts it wide. Oh, Jennings' head in his hands, nearly handed an equaliser back then. It hit his chest. Maidenhead was shouting for handball. Beg your pardon. And Jennings carried on. Played a blind back pass. Hyde was totally clear on goal. Done very quick off his line, though. And Hyde really, well, frankly, it rolled across him onto his left foot when he wanted to hit it with his right. Got his body shape all wrong, tangled up, and slashed it well wide. Dreadful finish, really.
I was poor on both accounts. Poor from Jennings, but he held his hand up straight away there and apologised. I think he thought Pearson was closer. And that was poor, really poor.
And here's Wrexham coming forwards, tacked away by Steer. Bowden can't bring the bouncing ball down. It drops loose. Bowden's unlucky to be penalised there for a challenge on upwards. Yeah, that was a horrible moment. That Dunn came very quickly off his line, and that was big credit to him. He's had an excellent start to the game. Done 2 good saves to his right, and then that. For me, if Hyde doesn't trust his left foot at all, and he's going to get in a tangle like that with his body shape, he needs to go round Dunn. He can go round on his right foot and try and put it in from the angle.
They should have scored. Yeah.
Well, he certainly shouldn't have driven it as wide as he did. Because wow, that was it wasn't. He didn't scrape the post. Let's put it that way. That was a bad finish. Anyway, he scored against Macclesfield on Saturday, so let's not get too cocky about it. As Bowden's chest down, doesn't find Holroyd, and Maidenhead can break as a result because Wrexham's 4 attacking players were ahead of the ball. Kelly does well to hold things up though. It spread to Odometi, who's got Jennings isolated. He comes inside. Oh, it's a poor touch by him. Kelly with a hard tackle, and then drops back to him so he can square it off. Rutherford builds it with the ball towards Holroyd, but doesn't find it the mark. And now here's Odometi, another heavy touch by Wedgbury, another great tackle, really crunching in. He's made some super tackles, not least the one that set up the goal for Wrexham. Jennings wins a throw-in off to Sturdy Peters. Throws to Wrexham left-hand side on the halfway line. Jennings throws towards Bowden, takes it on the body, holding it up well, things are going right, then switches, good ball towards Roberts, inviting him to come forwards. McGrath again offers down the line, McGrath receives, back to Roberts, and then McGrath hairs down the flank, Roberts doesn't use him, Holroyd, lovely dummy, Bowden left it round the corner, back to Holroyd, he's got an option to play it wide if he wants, goes backwards instead, Wedgbury is there, the switch is on, that's good play by Wrexham, good movement, it's swung over to Jennings, and Maidenhead have to shuffle across. Jennings has got his man isolated, he doesn't feel he can take him on, he's worked a nice ball to the edge, Bowden dummies again for Holroyd, nice stuff, Wedgbury spreads to the right hand side, Roberts has got lots of bodies in the box, if he wants to load it in there he pokes it into Holroyd instead, Wedgbury's under pressure from Clifton, Kelly pops it square, Wrexham forced back to the halfway and patient passing but good pressing by Maidenhead there, they just decided to step up when that ball turned Kelly, Roberts strides forwards, beats his man, doesn't accelerate any further, inside goes back, Wrexham have had possession for a long time here, it's Pearson deep in his own half, Jennings, good to watch this, Jennings drills it, Rutherford's touch, knocking it beyond his man, just too heavy, goes out of play, but applause for a good spell of passing and movement.
Rightly so, I mean that was really good from Wrexham, lots of good movement, a couple of dummies in there we saw, I think pretty much everyone apart from Dunn touched the ball within that last phase of play, or phases rather.
Well, Bowden's been brought in to combine with Holroyd, and they twice did that nicely there. Bowden dummying for him, whereas Kelly misses out from a ball down the flank, but a loose pass finds Jennings, who wants to draw the play. It doesn't do it. It's a poor ball by Jennings. It's on Christian Smith, who rolls it forward. Hyde, just about managed to bring the ball down under pressure. Good pressing in by Wedgbury, pokes it partly away, upwards, brings it down, works it wide. Smith switches well to the left-hand side. That's a good ball to Pritchard, brings it down. Robertson, McGrath facing him, cross swung into the far post. Jennings beaten to it in the air, but it bounces harmlessly through to Dunn. Great leap that was at the far post, but upwards could only plant it down into the goal mouth, do nothing more than that. So Dunn with the ball in his hands. Like I said, not much height up front for Wrexham. Unfortunately for Wrexham, well, Aldershot is drawing, but Sutton are ahead. So as things stand, Wrexham are second in the table. As Upwards comes forwards, pokes it on. Jennings intercepts, knocks it over the top now, then Bowden back pedaling. Can't quite win it. Holroyd's after a 50-50. Good strength by Christian Smith to win that though. And now deep in his own half, Smith needs to deliver on his weaker foot. He gets it clear. Jennings intercepts. Good header forwards to Bowden. Now he's got options either way. Plays a good ball to Rutherford on the back of the defence. Into the box. Oh, it's a good sliding tackle by Massey. He just got that ahead of Rutherford's. Otherwise, Maidenhead were in all sorts of trouble, weren't they?
Yeah, they really were. And that was a really good tackle from Massey. He had to time that well, otherwise that would have been a penalty. Yeah, absolutely. He lunged in. I think some of the fans felt that maybe Rutherford could have gone in a bit harder, but it was a hard tackle by the centre-back. 30th minute here on Calon FM. Wrexham 1, Maidenhead 0. Throw into Bowden, bounces up awkwardly, he takes it on the chest, turns. Can he find the angle for a cross? No, because of a good tackle by Upwards. Throw to Wrexham by the corner flag, left hand side. It's Jennings to take. Bowden and Rutherford offered. Rutherford pops it back to the full-back, and Jennings right-footed cross, a decent one, headed square by Clenimer, and McGrath in the penalty area is trying to hold off and nudging it back from Steer. Steer manages to thump it away. Sort of challenge on the halfway, and the ref might think of giving a foul, but not in the box. Kelly does really well to skip away from his man. Wedgbury under pressure as well, gets it back to Pearson. Pearson tries the ambitious ball forwards, easily cut out by Smith. Hyde on the halfway line pops it off. Nice little exchange between he and Pritchard. It's worked to the halfway line, where Steer tries to come forwards. Wrexham no pressing in midfield, but they're doing to Maidenhead what Maidenhead are doing to them, smothering. Down Devonshire's body language, frustrated even more so now when a poor ball forwards allows Roberts to clear. Odometi first with the loose ball, Wedgbury hassles him. Odometi knocks it back to his keeper. Good shape and discipline from Wrexham there, wouldn't let Maidenhead through. Yeah, really disciplined, and everyone knows their jobs, it's really clear. And I was just thinking to myself, Jennings with a loose header. It's a good footed by Wedgbury, but Odometi has it 25 yards out, once a left-footed shot, drives it with power, straight into the chest of Dunn. It was a clean strike, that. Not going to trouble Dunn. Go on, sorry, no, I was just thinking that I can see why Keats has started with Bowden. We kept the ball far more than we would have with Masanka playing.
Yeah, the balance looks pretty good, and I think this configuration of the two wingers and Kelly in the middle, this is probably as good as it's looked, I would say.
Yeah.
Apart, I suppose, from the Tranmere game when Kelly was forced to go into the middle, but that was different circumstances there. Wrexham were focusing on defending as it's thumped clear. Clifton misjudges as to flick on. Roberts gets it away. Headed on by Massey. Clifton's got another chance to create in the hole now. Works it wide to the right-hand side. Early ball's a poor one by Upwood. And again, it's an easy take for Dunn. He's had a very happy first half. Made a couple of crucial interventions. He wanders up to the edge of the area. Drops it on the floor. Hits it left-footed, trying to stand her up. Rutherford in the air. Hasn't got much chance against Peters. Upwards on the halfway line, well closed down by Kelly. Goes out for a throw, and Kelly's shown a lot of energy in the middle of the pitch, and Wrexham the ball upwards, steals a few yards. Referee allows it, and he gets a lucky ricochet. Oh, well, he's very unlucky. Right. Firstly, he nicked a few yards on the throw and got away with it. Secondly, the ricochet favoured him, and he got around the back of the fence there, and then the linesman was given a throw into Wrexham. I don't think that went out, I've got to be honest. It didn't look to me.
I've seen them not given, so... But yeah, you're right. He didn't take the throw from where he should have, and then was a bit unlucky with that decision.
The linesman was, to be fair, 5 yards away. Better view than us.
Was right by it, yeah.
But that's no guarantee. I'm sorry.
All right, it's better.
Exactly. Jennings with a throw. Good flick on by Bowden. Holroyd's on the chase, but Cleryman gets there first, knocks it back to his keeper, and Pentney thumps it deep into the Wrexham half. Clifton wrestling with Pearson. Pearson gets a touch onto it. Kelly can't clear it properly. Christian Smith hangs it up in the air. Manny Smith backpedals, heads it into the centre circle. Smith, powerful neck muscles, plants it into the edge of Wrexham's area. Pearson good header, knocked back in again. Clifton 25 yards out, back to goal, lays it back to Christian Smith. Good ball. Now then, Hyde tries the shot. Good block by Manny Smith. Bowden can't quite react quickly enough, so Maidenhead have it again. On the right hand side, it's Odin Matey sprinting. Good shoulder to shoulder strength, knocks Kelly to the ground, but drives in a poor cross. Jennings intercepts and gets the loose ball first and just launches it away. Wrexham having to defend quite a lot here. Christian Smith helps an awkward ball over the top Wrexham defence. Pearson does well to deal with it. Kelly cleverly hooks it on. Rutherford on the left can't see anything he'd like, so he goes back to Jennings. Poor clearance again by Jennings. Luckily for Wrexham, Upwards' touch is poor, and Kelly clears it, and it skips through. Jennings has lost the ball a few times with that left back position, hasn't he?
He has. I'm wondering if it's since he's come back, maybe not quite as sharp as before he went away type of thing.
Yeah, maybe a bit of rustiness, absolutely.
Yeah. And it's been since the mistake earlier, really, since his back pass.
Yeah, he has made a couple of little errors. Knocked long by Pentney. Wrexham still lead though. Pearson heads it away well. Now Bowden halfway, and that lovely ball around the corner. Holroyd tries to switch, asking too much at the pace of McGrath though. But again, Bowden and McGrath, beg your pardon, Bowden and Holroyd just looking like a partnership, aren't they? Yeah, linking up really well, and they're really close to each other as well. And like I said, they're aiming for Bowden, and Holroyd's usually near him, so it's worked really well so far. Hyde does well in the air from a long kick by the keeper. Allows Pritchard to run at Manny Smith, who's come out to the flank, and it comes off Smith, corner left hand side, and Maidenhead to cause problems with these set pieces. They've got height at the back, they've got two big centre backs, two big strikers, and Upwards, the wide midfielder, is big. Christian Smith, of course, is big as well, so there's plenty of height up there. They're outgunning Wrexham aerially. As Pritchard goes across to take the corner. He's got good delivery, left-footed from set pieces. He's dangerous from free kicks too. He slings that end towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Real crowd in there, and it's headed wide of goal by Christian Smith, who got it well, but just sort of floated it on rather than getting any punch behind the header. Christian Smith's been involved in a lot of their attacking opportunities, and I think you said pre-match he hadn't had a good game for them in the last game. He was subbed off early, but actually so far I think he's been one of their better players. He's been involved in a lot of their opportunities. Well, he was sitting in front of the back four and was really ineffective, and they took him off after an hour. But he's been more just an orthodox 4-4-2. He and Odometi just as a partnership rather than he holding, and he's done all right, Smith, as Holroyd tries to feed in behind defence and wins a corner off Massey, left hand side. That was alert play by him. Rutherford made the run. But Smith always had ability. Dean Saunders really fancied him as a sort of ball-playing centre-back he wants to convert into. I'm not sure Smith always was the best at making his own decisions on the pitch, though. Yeah, and I think probably off the pitch as well. I think professionalism probably... Rutherford slings a dangerous ball in. Has headed away from under the bar. Keeper lunging, couldn't get there. Kelly puts it back in the danger area. It's slashed away by Smith. Rutherford tries to hook it back in the goal mouth and pulls it a bit, and it goes easily through to the keeper. He jogs up to the edge of the area and has to wait for his players to get in position. It was a good delivery, that, at the corner from Rutherford. Keeper was lunging at it under his bar, tried to punch, didn't make any contact on it. It was headed away by Clerima. Long kick by Pentney. Pearson gets up, great header that. And Holroyd's done beautifully to tame it. Great tackle from behind by Christian Smith. Holroyd's hurt, but I think it was a good tackle. That the crowd didn't like it. The play continues, I think rightly. Clifton back to goal, works it right to the right-hand side, upwards, plays a nice little ball around the corner. Hyde, he's in a nice crossing position there, but his touch was horrible, and then he pulls Jennings' shirt. Now, Holroyd is still struggling back to his feet. I don't know, am I being generous? It was a hard tackle by Smith from behind, but I thought he won the ball okay.
I think it's the fact he went through Holroyd following. I'd like to see it again.
Oh, there, this is tonight. We can have a look. Be on YouTube midnight tomorrow. Anyway, Holroyd is up. Let's see if he's actually okay. He's positioned himself to be the aerial target for this free kick, which Dunn will take in a left-back position. He stands it down the flank. Holroyd looks okay here, jumping, and wins a header against Clerima. If Clerima gets the loose ball and manages to get their luck, ricochets off Wedgbury, does brilliantly to react and then block Smith ball forwards. Wedgbury has been a real destructive force here. Poor kick by Pentney. It's awkward for Smith, who manages to help it on with his thigh. Wedgbury wins it back, pokes a good ball to Holroyd. Snappy pass to Rutherford. Rutherford coming narrow. Good tackle that though by Clifton, retreating. And now it's knocked over the top of Wrexham's defence. Hyde is backpedaling. Surely backing into Pearson. I mean, come on, ref. In the end, Pearson deals with him and Kelly nicks it off him. And it's knocked long. Massey, poor head. And now then Holroyd's a chance. Bowden wants the through ball. Holroyd maybe should have delivered it. He plays it wide to McCrath in space. 3 men in the box to Amat. He wants to go around the outside of his man. Stands in the ball, and it's an easy take that on the edge of the 6-yard box by Clerima, who works it over to the right-hand side, and Upwood now can start a break for himself. It's been an open game, this. Works it square. Odomati in space in the halfway line. Kelly tries to get close enough to press. Can't. Odomati's gone right to left across the midfield. Drops it off at the feet of Peters, who plays a return ball, which is overhit, and Dunn will come out and get there comfortably ahead of Odomati. I just wondered if Holroyd had a chance there to put Bowden clear on goal and didn't back Bowden's pace.
Yeah, possibly, and I think as well McCrath was a good ball in, but Rutherford, Holroyd and Bowden all went to the same place. If one of them had just held back, that would have been a great ball.
Yeah, it was a real opportunity, wasn't it? 3-on-3 in the middle. Here's Roberts now. Thinks about going long, decides not to. And Wrexham recirculate it happily across the back. 5 minutes left of the first half here on Calon FM, and Chris Holroyd's goal is still the difference. Wrexham 1, Maidenhead United 0. Dunn goes long. Rutherford heads it up in the air under pressure. Poor header clear though by Peters, and it's knocked forwards in the end. Hyde backing into Manny Smith, who does well to win that. Loose ball is won by Clifton. Good tackle by Kelly again. Wedgbury, good pass to the halfway line. Quick ball out to the right by Holroyd. Bowden's making a super run, trying to take advantage of a ragged defensive line, but McCrath doesn't play him in, but it beats two men with a real burst of pace. He takes on Massey, drives in the cross, takes a deflection, and Clerima does really well to deal with that. He was off balance by the deflection. On the stretch, just about got to it, and then dribbled past Holroyd in the penalty area because he had no option. He had to go and try and take him on. He's lost it though. Jennings knocks it forward. Lovely ball in the corner by Bowden. That's excellent. Rutherford now running at the defender down the left-hand side. Nutmegs him. Gets in the area. Can he shoot? He squares to Holroyd and hits it. Great parry. McCrath 10 yards out. Can't set himself for a shot. Pulls it back. Wedgbury drives it. Blocked 6 yards out by Massey. Real pressure. There's Wedgbury. Great pace to win it back. Excellent play by Wrexham. But then Kelly's caught in possession. Chance for a break now. Right-hand side. It's Hyde. Freaks it inside. Oh, well, Kelly did well there. Good pace. He made the mistake, but he accelerated well and forced Hyde into a hurried pass, and Manny Smith tidies it up. And once Manny Smith tidies it up, that's the end of that, isn't it? Now Wrexham can come forwards. Roberts into the halfway there, but that was really nice stuff by Wrexham. Run over the top by Rutherford. Holroyd decides not to play it. Gets it back in the halfway line, Holroyd. Just slowing things down. Pokes it onto Bowden. Now there's an acceleration in the mood. Bowden again, sure-footed return pass. The switch is on. Holroyd sees it, it's on, but under-hits it as he tried to put Jennings away. Then good work by Upwood, who intercepts and then beats his man, and then is tackled by Wedgbury, and that's a late tackle by Upwards. Ref gives the free kick. Wedgbury's hurt. Upwards holding his foot. I suspect more in the manner of a man who thinks I might get in trouble with the referee here, so I'm going to hit the deck. Wedgbury is up, and the referee says neither of them needs a physio, although Wedgbury's limping rather heavily. Those ricochets in and around the area though just wouldn't quite fall for Wrexham. What a good save by the keeper though.
Yeah, so much happened there. And actually, after me saying about all three going in near into the 6-yard box, Holroyd hung back and McCreth didn't see him this time. So, but again, Wrexham looking really good value. And Bowden and Holroyd have been linking up so well. And I actually think that tackle there, I think the Holroyd one earlier looked worse, but Wedgbury came off. It seemed to come off a bit worse, but.
It's only a free kick. Roberts locks it in. Peterson's nodded into the goal mouth. Bowden, just mishit that. Dribbled away for a goal kick. I think he was caught in two minds. It was a good nod down by Peterson. Corner's been given. Wow. Explain that one to me. That's blatantly a goal kick, and the Maidenhead players rightly complaining. But Pearson knocked it down.
That was a clear corner.
Yeah. Goal.
That was a chance though again for Bowden.
Yeah.
I think he was half caught between shooting and and drilling it across the box.
He latched onto it right on the corner of the 6-yard box, and I think the right thing was to hit it on the turn first time, and he just had the thought, can I take a touch? And as a result, he did neither. And for me, it dribbled up Rochelle off his foot for a goal kick.
Yeah.
Ref gives the corner. Kelly sweeps it in under the bar. Keeper crowded in again, and the referee gives a free kick to the keeper. Now, he was under a lot of pressure, to be fair. But on the other hand, I think the referee might have realised when he had 6 Maidenhead players in his face, he might have made a mistake and he's blown.
Yeah, possibly. Anything like that, anything near the keeper though in a crowd, I think the referees tend to blow for a foul now.
I tell you what though, interesting test of the referee's temperament after the game. Because he's supposed to report teams if more than 3 come to them. And in our last home game, the referee reported both sides. Nothing came from it because it was nonsense. But there were about 6 Maidenhead players right in his face there. Rutherford's given that away. But Christian Smith, well, he's shown good strength to hang on to the ball. But immediately Wedgbury and Holroyd were on him and he couldn't go forwards. And the poor ball forwards, Wedgbury intercepts, runs out of pitch though. Through into Maidenhead just short of the halfway line. Right hand side now, Pearson has gone down hurts. He's holding his right knee, is it? Well, the last thing we want is Sean Pearson injured, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Oh, completely. As a team, they've all done really well today. Defensively, we've looked solid. Apart from, I would say, early on and that mistake by Jennings, but Manny and Pearson have looked solid again. I'm just wondering if he comes off. Would Carrington go in at right back and Roberts in the centre, or will Carrington go straight in at centre back? Or
Hurst, of course, is an option as well. Well. Thankfully, thus far, we've not had to find out what we'd do if Pearson was injured.
I think we played one game, didn't we, where Ollie Marks
has come in, but he's out on loan now, isn't he? So,
well, he's just broken his leg or broken his ankle? He's just...
So, anyway, Pearson's had his knee flexed and is being helped up. He went down and looked in real distress against Ebbsfleet and then suddenly jumped up again and was fine. And he's limping off to the sides of the pitch. Let's keep an eye on that. Just to keep an eye as well on Wrexham's status at the moment. It's still Sutton leading 1-0 and Aldershot drawing. So as things stand, we are in second place on goals scored. We're level with Sutton on goal difference. Pearson looks like he wants to come straight back onto the pitch. Thank heavens. Throwing to Maidenhead just short of the halfway, and there'll be 2 added minutes to this half as Peter steps up and throws it down the line. Jennings is nudging the back. He's by Clifton, nothing given. I think rightly. Kelly on the stretch just about managed to win it. Jennings clears only as far as Christian Smith again though, and Smith now 30 yards out, squares it on. Pearson's back in the middle of the Wrexham's defence now. There's a chance for a cross. Pritchard fakes the cross, takes on Roberts, drills a nasty ball, and Manny Smith deals with that well. Off balance, sorted his feet out quickly. Bowden just slams it deep into Maidenhead's half. He had no real other option. It's worked all the way back to Pentney. Pentney in his all-orange fluorescent kit slings a long one looking for Pritchard, who gets it well to beat Roberts in the air, but Wedgbury is everywhere in the middle of the pitch. Takes it on the chest, squares it on. Roberts drives over the top. That's not a bad idea. Headed away, off balance by Steer. Great header by Wedgbury. Again, he's won so many challenges. It drops loose as a result of Wedgbury's efforts for Kelly to pick up. And now here's Pearson. There's a chance to play this in over the top. He plays it short because Holroyd dropped off. Rutherford and Bowden made good runs, and Maidenhead got their defensive line wrong. As Wedgbury makes a mistake, tries to help her on, misses the ball completely, and now Pritchard's running at Roberts. Super tackle by Roberts. Oh, that was a beauty. Off balance, managed to stick his foot out and dispossess him, and now Wrexham are breaking forward. forwards. Rutherford back to Roberts. Hits it with the outside of his foot. Oh, he's full of himself for the last 10 seconds. Gives it away, mind. Kelly slides in, automated, cute work. Spins past him. Kelly tries to dig his legs through him, and the referee plays an advantage. Well, there is no advantage, and he's given a goal kick to Wrexham. And again, Maidenhead have got every right to be unhappy there. Motivated did really well to hold off Kelly, turned him like a matador. As he went past him the second time, Kelly clearly swiped at him. I wondered if he might give a card for that. The referee clearly signalled advantage, but immediately Automated played it forward, put it out for a goal kick. Well, surely he pulls it back for the free kick to Maidenhead there. And, well, I'm not complaining because Wrexham were close to closing out the first half. But he's made some odd decisions, this ref, I've got to say.
I think we've had him before. He looks familiar.
Oh, look him up.
Maybe it's just his decisions look familiar.
Well, there's the half-time whistle anyway. Wrexham lead 1-0 at half-time, and we will certainly take that as Wrexham equal top still of the division.
You're listening to Wrexham Football Club commentary live on Calon FM, brought to you by the Wrexham AFC Media Team. Every kick, every goal, every moment, home and away. Coming up next, half-time match analysis followed by the second half of today's game. Follow all of the action live and exclusive here on Calon FM. Listen on 105 FM, online at calonfm.com or via the TuneIn radio app. Follow us on Twitter at Calon FM and at Commentary WAFC. Wrexham AFC on Calon FM. Whenever, wherever.
Calon FM.
So the half-time score here on Calon FM. Wrexham 1, Maidenhead 0. 19th minute strike by Chris Holroyd, and what has been a very open, entertaining and even match. Both sides have had chances. Dunn's made a couple of good saves. Pentney made a good parry high to his left. Wrexham had chances to add to their lead after they scored in the 19th minute. Quite frankly, Wrexham were second best until that goal, probably been the better side since then. Well, I followed up Lucy's tip and had a look, and he's refed one game against us, beg your pardon. One Wrexham game. I'm really a bit biased on the referee here. It was the 0-0 away at Halifax earlier this season. I don't remember him getting anything horrifically wrong. I don't think. There was a controversial incident off the ball where Cosilo, the left winger, rather horribly raked his studs down the back of, I can't remember which player it was now. Was it, might have been Rutherford it was, off the ball. The referee had there was no way he could blame the ref for missing it. He was right in front of the linesman, so maybe the linesman also spotted it. But
I don't think I went to that match. I was thinking a home game, actually, so maybe last season.
Maybe. No, he didn't ref us last season.
Oh, okay.
I'm thorough. If nothing else, I'm thorough. So, maybe he's got a twin.
Maybe. Like you said, some interesting decisions both ways, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, certainly Maidenhead, I think, have got grounds for complaints about the goal, I suspect. It was a series of odd decisions. Firstly, it looked like a foul on Wrexham on the halfway line. He didn't give that. Then Wedgbury went in really hard. Now, okay, because what I want to see the replay of, it was a hell of a crunching, old-fashioned tackle. He really went in hard to win the ball. Maybe it was just a super tackle. Wrexham then, as a result of winning the ball high at the pitch, Rutherford played it in, and for me, Holroyd looked at half a yard off. Yeah. But he finished it very well, just blasting it through the keeper. So yeah, I think maybe got grounds for complaint about that.
Yeah, I think so. I think, like you said, both of them, I think, originally there's the Bowden tackle, which I think was a foul, then the Wedgbury tackle, and then, Holroyd looked clearly offside. Yeah. But again, not going to complain because we've had decisions go against us in the past, and, Holroyd in those positions is just so clinical that out of everyone, that's who you would want through with that ball.
If I can indulge myself in a history lesson, it reminds me of a Wrexham player from, my teenage years, who came back and was a very different player, Kevin Russell, a proper legend at the club, who came back as a midfielder, but in his first spell at Wrexham, he had hair for a start, which was a shock to many of them, and he was a little striker who scored over 20 goals in both his seasons, and he was just at absolute electric pace. But the thing he also had was an awareness that lower division goalkeepers aren't very good. And so his trademark goal was he'd use his pace to get one-on-one, and then he would just smash it. He wouldn't place it, he wouldn't do anything clever, he would smash it, working on the basis that low division goalies often would just not stand up for long enough, and if he launched it, they're probably on their way down and they won't save it. Now, that's not quite the finish Holroyd did there, but he certainly didn't go for placements as much as just hit it hard, hit it early, and hopefully the keeper's not set. And that essentially was what happened. If the keeper had time to set himself, he might have parried it, but instead we've won the ball high at the pitch. The keeper's still getting himself into position. We've switched it quickly to from Rutherford to Holroyd, and he has hit it early when maybe you might be wondering if he's going to square it in for the 2-against-1 in the box. And yeah, it reminds me of Russell in the way just of how you can exploit a lower division keeper before he can set himself properly.
I can't believe Russell A used to have hair.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And B was a forward.
It was a funny thing that basically Russell, he was at Portsmouth, the young lads didn't break through there, came to us, and he was just, we were in what was now League 2. He was much too good for that level. He was magnificent. I remember a brilliant couple of goals he scored against Exeter down the Cop. I was in the back of the Cop then with my mates. And it was superb. The first goal he scored was a ball down the right channel, and he had the pace, got beyond the defenders, keeper came out, really tight angle, and on the stretch, as it's about to go out of play almost for a goal kick, he hit it back in and managed to hit it inside the far post. Terrific finish. But then what really made my jaw drop was that then about 10 minutes later, the exact mirror image, he's exactly the same position running down the left channel, did the same thing with his left foot and scored in off the far post. And you just think, wow, that guy can play football.
Yeah.
And the thing that happened with him was that in the end of his second season, we got into the playoffs. But he got a groin injury with about a month of the season left. He missed a couple of games, and then I think quite understandably, Dixon McNeil and desperately, I mean, we weren't a great team, we were okay. We'd scraped into the playoffs on the last day of the season. And so McNeil rightly knew he was the star player, needed to get him back. He played in the playoffs. He scored in the semi-finals when we got through to the final, but he wasn't quite himself. And I'm not sure whether that injury actually carried on or not, but we sold him on.
Yeah.
He went to higher levels, but he had quite bad injuries, and basically sometimes those quick players, they get injuries and their pace goes.
Yeah.
But he really reinvented himself well as an attacking midfielder. And came back to us then, near the end of his career. And the beautiful thing was, you get some very quick strikers, and all they've got is that pace. They're not necessarily clever; they're just fast.
Yeah.
But he was always a very intelligent player, and so when he lost his pace, he was still able to reinvent himself as something else. I always remember him. One of the first players I ever had co-commentating with me. And it was, he just taught me a lesson. It was brilliant listening to him, the way he pulled the game apart. I mean, you don't expect that from a player necessarily. And I've had plenty of other players, and bless them, they're not doing that. They're not analysing. But Kevin Russell, he was a different kettle of fish. So.
And from where we're sitting up here, it is a really good angle to see the game tactically, and I think that's why Darlington always sits up here. That's
exactly right. So he goes up into the stands.
Yeah.
He's got his walkie-talkie, and so he's shouting out the instructions to the data analyst. So Ben Griffiths-Trevor now, who's taking it all in his earpiece, clipping the games, and then getting the footage over from to use at half-time. I wondered whether he might go down to the touchline with Keats also in the stands, but it makes sense to stick with what works, and that is Darlington's strength, to sit up and have that tactical view, isn't it?
And you can get a much better idea of the game from up here as well. But here's a question, Matt. Who do you think is the greatest Wrexham player ever? You just talked about Russell.
Nah, I'm going to be awkward.
How about your favourite and then the greatest?
I'll have to split it up, because a guy despite my grey hair, a guy I definitely never saw, I think, has now a good shout for the greatest players, Tommy Bamford in the 30s, or the 20s and 30s. So, honestly, that is before my time.
Yeah.
But I mean, his scoring record's absolutely phenomenal. See if I can pull it up on one of his spreadsheets here. But I mean, basically, he came here. He played here for I think it's 4.5, 5 seasons. Scored a ludicrous amount of goals. When you look at our goal-scoring records. He dominates them. He absolutely dominates them. Most hat-tricks, all sorts of things. He's the only player who scored over 200 goals for Wrexham. Right. And quite frankly, in not too far off a goal a game.
So stats-wise, he's the...
Stats-wise, undoubtedly. I mean, you got people like Arvon Griffiths, who was a magnificent... I only saw the very end of his career.
Yeah.
But he was a fine player. He played more games for us than anybody else, played for Wales, played for Arsenal briefly, and was a really high-quality player. Joey Jones, who won the Champions League, or what is now the Champions League. I mean, there's so many really, really fine players who played for us over the years.
Yeah.
I've got to think.
Have a think, maybe at the end.
My favourite. Some people are sick of me saying this. Again, when I was a teenager, we had this big Scottish centre forward called Jim Steele.
Oh, okay.
Oh, and he, I'm not saying he's the best player of all time by any stretch of the imagination, but
personal favourite of yours.
Yeah, and you didn't want to mark him. All elbows and roughed you up.
Yeah.
He scored the winning goal against Porto when we knocked Porto out of the European Cup Winners' Cup, and a couple of years later, we gave terrific trouble to Real Zaragoza, who were the Spanish Cup holders, to such an extent that he actually went on loan from Wrexham to Deportivo La Coruña in the Spanish First Division.
Wow.
And so did by all accounts, although there was no coverage then, of course, of Spanish football, by all accounts did a pretty sound job. So, fair play to him. Oh, Jim Steele, my hero. Or Mickey Thomas, I suppose. Maybe we should mention that guy.
I was going to mention Mickey, but I thought...
Yeah. But then Dixie, I mean...
you might be able to hear us.
Yeah, was he down the road, was he?
I think so, yeah.
So, yeah, there's plenty of players there. Anyway, I suppose I better play the pre-recorded thing I did, didn't I?
Yes.
I had a bit of an adventure overnight. Like I said, I haven't really had any sleep since 7 o'clock yesterday morning. I'm surprised I've kept going so well, because I took part in the 20th anniversary broadcast of the BBC World Football Phone-In, something which has certainly informed the stuff that I enjoy doing with the club. So I've compiled a little bit of a report. Here it is.
I'm Paul Rutherford. Follow Wrexham AFC on Calon FM.
It's 11:01 p.m. on the 1st of December, and I'm at Media City in Salford to record the 20th anniversary episode of BBC 5 Live's World Football Phone-In. What's that got to do with Wrexham? Let me explain. Well, part of why this is due to Wrexham is about what I'm up to, because I'm about to start quite the broadcast marathon. A 4-hour broadcast on the BBC through the night from 1 o'clock until 5, and then I'm heading back to the racecourse to do my usual pre-match preparations and commentate on the Wrexham Maidenhead game. So I'm going to be interested to see whether I'm actually on my knees by the end of the match or not. So it's my own little personal crusade. But the phone-in, why is that relevant to us, and what exactly is going on tonight? Well, the show itself is remarkable. Every Friday night, listeners phoning in, hosted by the irrepressible Dotun Adebayo, a superb host, somebody who imbues enthusiasm and knowledge to the show, but most importantly is a great party host. He keeps everybody involved. He keeps everybody feeling valued, knowing that they're wanted. His regular guest, Tim Vickery, amazing journalist whose standards are really the sorts that everybody in journalism should be aspiring to. Remarkably knowledgeable, terrific with his anecdotes, and able to put a sense of humour and sharpness into everything that he does. And they're joined by other regular guests who liven up the conversation. It's been an institution for 20 years. Like I said, this is the 20th anniversary broadcast, and that's why they're inviting people in to join them and have something of a party in Salford. But it's also something which has influenced the work of the media team enormously. I'm very proud of putting together the highlights. I love to do it. But my real love is the Football Club's podcasts. I absolutely adore putting things together. I love putting them out. We were early adopters of podcasting. We've been doing the podcast for over 10 years, post-match and otherwise. Started with the post-match ones, and frankly, it was World Football Phone-In that was my inspiration. It's one of the very, very, very early podcasts, and has always been a remarkable listen. I couldn't tell you how long it is since I've been listening to it, but it's a really good chunk of those 20 years, and not a week goes by without listening in the car or walking around in my headphones to the show. I'm a religious listener. It's wonderful. It's radio gold. It's not just a broadcast about football. It's something which also makes you feel welcomed and wanted. There are plenty of listeners who have no interest in football, but they talk about society and the things that influence football, and just the camaraderie that draws them in. And it's a major part of what I want to achieve through the club's media team and through our podcasting. And now we're on Calon FM as well through that. And now, like an excited and slightly hyperventilating fanboy, here I am entering Media City to join in.
So welcome back to a very special World Football Phone-In. We're celebrating 20 years now of the programme here on Up All Night, and with us throughout our live audience here in Salford. Cheer from you guys, for you guys. It's more like it. And
well, I'm going to have to cut that short. Rather misjudged how long half-time was. Who knew it's 15 minutes? That's all. Shocking, isn't it? The teams are out and about to get cracking again. I'll put that up as a podcast, a full report anyway, including my glorious attempts to influence matters on the broadcast as we get things underway. And immediately Maidenhead nearly make a catastrophic error from the restart. The ball was played straight back to Clenham after the kick-off, and Bowden tackled him. Just couldn't quite get away and run her on goal. As a result, Maidenhead are able to clear, but Bowden, great sharpness early on. He's probably his best performance this for Wrexham. As Maidenhead tried to come forward, now chested down cutely by Clifton, popped back towards him. That's dummied for Hyde. It's up to Clifton. Early ball's a decent one to the far post. Good header by Roberts. Well defended, but it's picked up on the left-hand side by Steer, who drives a nasty ball in, deflects across, shooting chance, blocked on the edge of the 6-yard box, and then Clifton hits a shot wide. Wow, that was a really clean strike by Odemati, and sort of smashed into Pearson's chest, didn't it, more than anything else?
Yeah, it did. I mean, that was a real good opportunity there for Maidenhead, and just trying to I don't know how Pearson stopped that, because that was an absolute bullet, so his chest must be hurting.
Yeah, it's a heck of a start of the half. Bowden with a tackle down there, Wrexham are nearly in.
Started as the first half finished really fast-paced. Looks like Maidenhead are going to come out and go for it as well.
They have no option, do they? I suppose they're behind against a side that doesn't tend to let many goals, and they need to push on. As the goal kick's taken, Wrexham with a throw on the halfway line, left-hand side. Jennings will look to take it. By the way, the Tommy Bamford goal-scoring record, brace yourselves, 246 games, 207 goals. Not bad. Throw-in taken by Wrexham. Bowden can't bring into prop control. It gets away from him. Throw into Maidenhead. 15 yards short of the halfway line. Taken down the flank by Steer. Headed out by Pearson, who's rather harshly penalised for climbing. So throw to Maidenhead, about 10 yards into the Wrexham half, right-hand side. Has this been a random feel to the referee's decision-making, you feel, today?
That was a really soft one, considering some of the ones he's let go.
And there have been a lot of aerial challenges like that he's drawn no interest in. I think rightly, but that one, I don't know, chance for them to knock it into the box then. The ball driven towards the penalty spot as the ball ricochets around, and Clifton back to goal, works it wide well, nice cross into the near post, takes a horrible deflection, but actually it's okay. It hit Wedgbury, and for a second I thought it was going to spin viciously to the far post, overdone, but actually sat up in the air, and Dunn took it without any pressure. Not a least an orient moment for Chris Dunn, who bowls the ball out to the left-hand side to Jennings. Jennings weighs up his options and looks for Holroyd. Good challenge by Christian Smith. Wedgbury gets a good foot in, though. Throw into Maidenhead, about 15 yards into Wrexham's half, right-hand side. And, yeah, you're right. There's a real pace about how they're going about this. Throw in taken quickly. Clifton tries to touch it off, but gives it away. Lunging challenge coming in, which the referee gives an advantage for. Amazingly, Upwood was asking for a foul, when, to me, he was asking for a yellow. Anyway, ref plays on. Bowden can't quite take him aside. Holroyd nearly wins it in Maidenhead's half. Wrexham have been so good at that. Scored the goal because of it, of course. Long ball forwards. Manny Smith heads it away. Christian Smith works it wide to the left-hand side. Gets it back. Plays a scuffed ball, but he finds Hyde. Not sure he was aiming for him. But Hyde, 25 yards out, spreads. And again, good pressure. There's Pritchard crosses. Blocked by Roberts. Comes out to Pritchard. Swings a nasty ball. Then flick header goes over the bar from Hyde. But yeah, there's a pace and purpose about Maidenhead at the start of this half. They've really come out the traps quickly, haven't they?
Yeah, they have. Just watching Pearson's asking about that challenge that the referee let Advantage carry on, but referee just didn't speak to the Maidenhead player at all, because that could have been a nasty challenge. But yeah, Maidenhead have started really as they finished, pressing, putting us under pressure, and look like they want to get a goal here, so they're really trying to move the ball forwards quickly now. Well,
the 2-1 win at Maidenhead at the start of the season was really hard fought, and this is hard fought too. Goal kick, and Maidenhead win the header. Wedgbury has it, squeezes it back to Jennings, and he feeds it forwards. Holroyd again, dropping off again, available, works it nicely to Rutherford. Jennings gone beyond him. Rutherford pokes it in. Jennings now crossing opportunity. 2 men in the box. Holroyd and Marks as he attacks it as well. Ball swung to the far post. Nasty ball headed behind for the corner. That was a vicious ball beyond the far post by Jennings, and it was Steer really lunging towards his own goal, who had to head it behind. A nice delivery from Jennings, that.
Yeah, really nice ball to the back post, and both Bowden and Holroyd were following that in, so the Maidenhead defender, all he could do was head it out for a corner.
Kelly will take it, a left-footed in-swinger. The drum beats behind the goal as Kelly signals a short option given by McCrath. Kelly is not going to use it. He signals again. Swings it into the far post. Keeper has a defender jumping in front of him, heading it away. McCrath edge of the area. Works it wide again to Kelly. Chance to cross. Slings it into the far post. Keeper's coming. It goes beyond everybody. Manny Smith was after it. Goes for the goal kick. Manny Smith has scored 2 goals, of course, against Maidenhead. And at the start of the season, couldn't quite get on the end of it, but into a decent area. The keeper he's not really dominated in the air with set pieces, as he. Wrexham have crowded him and troubled him.
Yeah, and I think the only times he has caught the ball really is when we played the ball near him. He hasn't. He's not coming out. He's not putting pressure on the Wrexham players.
His defenders have been heading it out from right in front of him as well. Yeah. They've not trusted him. Long kick by him as Hyde works into midfield, and Christian Smith is lucky to hang on to that and plays a terrific ball down the left-hand side. Roberts just about gets there. Good defending. Smith did well. I'd say he was lucky. He had to ride the tackle, but the pass puts him in a mess, and then he played a really searching ball, taken quickly to the edge of Wrexham's area. Hyde back to goal. Poor ball. Tries to work it wide, puts it straight out of play. It looks a full 360 degrees for somebody to blame. There was no one to blame but himself. He's still looking around as if to say, well, that couldn't have been my fault. Sorry, pal. That was just a bad ball. How strange. Throwing. Roberts dries the ball under his shirt. Good movement down the line to find Holroyd. Comes off the head of Steer. Throw into Wrexham. 25 yards out from goal, right-hand side. To be taken by Roberts. McCrath is on the halfway line. Drops off short. Bowden is the aerial target. He backs in, flicks that on really well. Headed clear by Massey. Wedgbury nods it on once more. Holroyd helps it on, looking for Bowden. It's too crowded in there, though. It's cleared. It's good foot in by Smith, who snakes a leg in front of Clifton. But the second ball's won by Odometi, who breaks down the left-hand side, looking for an angle to put in a cross. He drives it against Roberts. I think it hit Odometi, double ricochet, throw into Wrexham. But we're having to dig in and work defensively at the start of this half, aren't we?
Yeah, we are, and Wedgbury's been everywhere again. Yeah. There, he was supporting Roberts to stop the cross coming in. But again, Wrexham have started really well, disciplined really well.
So in taking the ball, bobbling on the edge of Wrexham's area, Manny Smith smashes his away into midfield, headed on by Peters. Manny Smith judges his header well. Clifton asks for a foul, never a foul. That Wedgbury under pressure, good strength, good composure, finds Roberts, he drives it forwards, mishits it, throwing on the halfway line, left-hand side. Steer will take. After Massey thinks of taking it about 30 yards further back from where it should be. Not much advantage to that. Steer standing in front of the dugouts. He's got upwards put down the line, throws it beyond him. Clifton helps on well. Good stretch by Wedgbury, who intercepts, and another miss hits his clearance. It's picked up by the right back, Peters, who has to go back to the halfway line. Clearly, man, good ball to Hyde. It's just not quite good enough. Allows Jennings to get a foot in, and Wedgbury just hoofs it clear deep into the Maidenhead half. Bad touch by Cleryman, nearly allows Bowden to tackle him. He can't quite get to him in time, but a hurried clearance by the French defender. And now here's Kelly under pressure. Oh, he's lucky. Poor ball by him, takes a deflection. Manny Smith intercepts. He's been solid as ever at the back, Smith. Roberts throws it down the line. McGrath turns, face up his man. Little give and go. Holroyd plays it on the back of the defence. Down in. McGrath takes on his man. Step over. It's the goal line. Slings a lovely ball in. Bowden heads it wide from 6 yards out. Oh, he's on his knees. His head in his hands. That was a chance. He was just stretching and he couldn't control the header.
He totally mistimed his jump, I think, as well. I think he jumped too early. And I don't think he actually thought he was going to clear the first defender. So he headed the ball as he was landing and he was off balance.
It was an opportunity, that 9th minute of the second half, beg your pardon, and that was a real opportunity for Bowden to get that elusive first goal. It was a lovely combination play. McGrath with the little return pass from Holroyd, the little give and go, and wow, lovely cross. Bowden jumping 6 yards out, just couldn't control the head, like I said, got up it too soon. Real frustration, that. So, to throw in to Wrexham. 20 yards short of the halfway line, left-hand side. Jennings throws it in short. Ooh, Rutherford gives it away and then lunges in to try and win it back, but it's Maidenhead break forwards dangerously. Pritchard in his central position, powerful shot. Roberts blocks it well, and now here's a break. McGrath accelerating through the middle himself. Turns into trouble. He needs to get out wide. It's not long. Manny Smith, powerful header once more. Odomati nods it down. Didn't realise McGrath was inside him. McGrath tackled, minding his own half. Kelly does really well to get there and find Roberts, who knocks it long. Massey heads it clear. Kelly helps it on himself. Massey again will head it in to the halfway line, where Wedgbury can't get up ahead of Christian Smith. Good stooping header by Clifton, but picked up by Pritchard. Wrexham feel that Wedgbury was fouled. Wedgbury's gone down and is writhing around on the floor. The referee's going to throw into Maidenhead about 20 yards out, but Wedgbury is going to get treatment. He looks in some distress.
I'm not sure what happened there. I think the Maidenhead player kicked the ball. I don't know if Wedgbury kind of got tangled in there. I don't know if it's the same place he was caught earlier as well.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't see a foul in that, really.
It was a foul, no.
And he just seemed to be trying to get there and didn't quite get there in time. And you don't normally get hurt doing that, do you? Anyway, Wedgbury's getting treatment now to his left ankle, it looks like, his left shin. That's always just a contact injury and nothing too serious, because Wedgbury's been a really big figure in the middle of the pitch for Wrexham. His energy, his ability to win the ball back has been very impressive. He's slowly getting to his feet and is limping over to the side of the pitch. Referee says, yeah, you've got to leave the pitch. Wedgbury jogs off. He doesn't look too happy. Let's see how that goes. Wrexham down to 10 men for the moment now. Throwing, which Steele's getting a real telling off from the referee. If the Wrexham fans feel it's because he's being pushed backwards, it's also because Wedgbury hasn't left the pitch yet. Finally, the fullback can take the throw-in. It's about 30 yards out, left-hand side, and throws it towards the corner of the box. Clifton chests it down, but McGrath is there, hacks it clear. Wedgbury back on the pitch. It's Bowden back defending, and he wins a free kick on the edge of the Wrexham area. That was good work by Bowden, just scrapping away. If only he could get that goal, eh?
I know, he's had 2 good chances as well, hasn't he? I think once he scores one, he could score a few.
Hope so.
Yeah, we hope so.
His record suggests he should. You know, he makes these are logical punts for Keats to take last summer. His goal scoring record sound, certainly at this level.
I think he's just been unlucky. Reed coming in and then we're in December now,
Getting the golden scoring position has been his problem. Well, he has managed it today. Dunn takes a kick and Christian Smith heads it away, and Hyde, rather, buys a free kick, feels contact from behind on the halfway line from Pearson. Takes the free kick quickly as well. Now there's a chance to cross. Pritchard out the edge of the area, stands up to the far post dangerously. Jennings, great header, and he's taken out in the air, and the referee belatedly gives the free kick. I don't know if he was waiting to see if Wrexham could have an advantage. He's determined to keep his cards in his pocket. There have been a few challenges. Mazanov upward there. Clattered into Jennings in the air. Maybe I'm being a bit harsh, I don't know.
I'm not sure he was going to give that, actually, until everyone complained and the players complained, but Jennings took an absolute batter in there.
Yeah. He didn't have the body language of someone about to blow his whistle, but the crowd and the players went up. I don't know if he was waiting to see if there was an advantage. There was an advantage, so if he'd done that, fair enough.
Yeah.
Rutherford had retrieved it. He was very deep, but there's a lot of space around him.
Yeah.
I mean, goal kick taken, Bolden again does well in the air. It's volleyed away by Calon, and Pearson backpedaling, heads it forwards to the halfway line. Christian Smith nods it on. Pearson heads it on once more. Bolden on the halfway line helps it on dangerously towards Holroyd. Calon gets ahead to it, has no real control over its direction, but it's hacked clear by Steer. And now it's dropped on the halfway line. Wedgbury with a good foot in. Gets it back to Pearson on his left foot. Pearson chips it forwards. Christian Smith has hoovered up a lot of those loose balls. He's played a good ball forward as well. Nice little 1-2 on the edge of the area. Clifton is forced to go backwards by Wedgbury's presence. Hits a very hopeful long-range shot. Pearson heads it clear. They're not scared of shooting, Maidenhead. They shoot from distance. Ball ups to Hyde, and he tries one and puts it just wide. That was a great effort on the turn. A snapshot out of nothing. It pinged back to the edge of the area. He lashed it in. Just wide of the right post. I think Dunn had it covered, but it was a terrific strike by Hyde, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. And I think from here it looked like it was going clearly wide, but then I think Dunn's dramatic dive maybe made it seem like it was a lot closer. I'm not sure, but you're right. They're not afraid to shoot if given the opportunity.
I've got to be honest. I thought it was in. I've got to be honest. I just thought it crept inside the post. It was a.
Once he dived the way he dived,
yeah. I think he probably had it covered, Dunn. As the goal kick is taken, Wrexham has certainly not got things going at the start of this second half, though. As Peters thumps it clear, Wedgbury does well to win. Surely he's fouled. Ball's knocked over the top. Now then, referee, the question is, how bad a challenge was it? It was an arm that seemed to go thudding into his throat. And the Wrexham fans are surrounding the referee. Well, he's shown a real reluctance to show cards, but the fans want a red for that. Wedgbury is still down in a heap. The referee's going across very slowly to have a look at him first. Wedgbury's rolling around on the floor, and finally he decides the physio can go on. I think that, frankly, the ref should have acted quicker in that instance to get him on the pitch. Now then, it's a red. It's a red. And I've got to say,
I'm surprised by that, actually, from here, but again, the players who are closer reacted badly.
You can see his arm going across Wedgbury. I mean, okay, face or throat doesn't make a difference. Maybe I'm picking.
I think based on his other decisions, I'm surprised because he hasn't booked anyone for anything else.
Yeah, exactly. He showed no inclination to show cards.
Yeah.
But the arm definitely went across Wedgbury. Quite where to hit him, I wouldn't like to say from up here. And my first thought was like across the throat more, but maybe it was more across the face. I should point out it's Ryan Upwards, the one who took Jennings out in the air about 2 minutes earlier.
Yeah.
So, reckless in the air, quite frankly, and
Wedgbury's still down.
That was certainly, Wedgbury's been in the wars, second time he's in treatment in a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
And Wrexham against 10 men.
To be fair, it's the far side of the pitch from us, and Wedgbury did go down in pain, and all the players around reacted really badly. So I think the linesman has said that's a red.
Like you say, the referee has tended to be not that desperate to show the cards today, hasn't he?
That's why I was so surprised, but again, you thought that was throat, didn't you, straight away? So
I thought, I don't want to put money on it. Like you said, with the width of the pitch away from it, but you can see his arm go across him.
Yeah.
So, Wrexham 1-0 up and against 10 men.
Is it Jake Hyde?
No, Upwards, Ryan Upwards. The last time a player was sent off against Wrexham at the racecourse, Ryan Astles, in March 2016 in the Wrexham Chester derby when we won 3-0. So, it's a while since we've seen a red card in Wrexham's favour here.
Yeah.
Anyway, free kick to Wrexham on the halfway line. They feed it down the flank. That's clever. Bowden has got a chance maybe to put a cross in. He's holding it up as Wedgbury comes back on the pitch, feeds it back to Jennings. His cross is charged down. Kelly picks it 25 yards up Maidenhead, very deep as they start to reorganise. Here's Wedgbury, spreading to the right-hand side. McCrath, level the edge of the area, pulls it back. Roberts now. McCrath once more. cuts inside onto his left foot. We know he can deliver with his left. He swings it in, headed away well by Clerima, and volleyed clear, but only as far as Kelly, 30 yards out. Kelly spreads it to the left-hand side. Jennings now goes on the outside of his man and mishits his cross massively. It drops out of play. I just thought then when McCrath put that cross on his left foot, his first ever assist for Wrexham in his second game for Wrexham was a left-footed cross. Actually, funnily, for a right-footed winger, all his assists have been on his left foot this season, so at least he's got versatility, but his stronger foot he's not managed to deliver.
Interesting.
Or maybe I should say players haven't finished the chances he's created with his right foot. Maybe he's a
two ways to look at it. Yeah, that was a good ball in though.
It certainly was. There have been a few good balls from McCrath, haven't there?
Yeah.
Goal kick, Manny Smith, towering header. Bowden backing in, flicks it on really well. Rutherford's on a chase. Massey will get there first. Bowden's done a good job as target man. It's Wedgbury jumping. Smith again wins it easily. A real good physical presence. Christian Smith in midfield. Robert slides in and puts it out for a throw to Maidenhead, level edge area, left hand side. Drops for Steer, who plays a poor ball forwards. Kelly clears. Bowden backing in and flicks it over his man. Runs into Clenham. Our referee rightly says nothing as Bowden protests. So it was a cute idea by Bowden, but when he saw he couldn't get to it, he ran into Clenham blatantly, and he didn't carry on his protest too long, to be honest. Wrexham win it back to Manny Smith. Then Bowden's rather tentative, loses out. Ball drops on the left hand side for Pritchard. Good ball now, and Clifton left side of the box, left to cross it, swings it into the far post. There's no one there because the butt's been sent off. Jennings launches it high into the air. McCrath mistimes his header, and there's a nasty header towards goal. Dunn fumbles it and just about hangs onto it. Oh, that was horrible. Well, he survived. That's the first thing. That was crazy. Steer 25 yards out, headed it in towards goal. It took a nasty bounce, but Dunn backed off. He shouldn't have backed off. It span up at him, he's standing on the goal and hits his chest, span up in the air, and he sort of pawed at it and managed to pull it down from the air and grab hold of it. And ooh, that was dicey, wasn't it? That
was a nasty ball in. It kind of bounced right in front of Dunn's feet. And I think took him by surprise, and that almost bounced in over his head.
Oh, Dunn with a near nightmare there, but he did manage to deal with it, and he hits it long now. Christian Smith heads it on. Clifton beaten to a great header by Manny Smith. Holroyd on the halfway line, knocked to the ground by Christian Smith. Referee allows a challenge, and now it's a chance for Massey to come forward. Spreads to the left-hand side. Roberts intercepts, though. Good touch. Takes it round his man. Good progressive play by Roberts. He's accelerating forwards now, and he's beaten Pritchard, as you know. Pritchard just about slid in and poked it backwards, and now here coming forwards is Steer. He finds Pritchard, 25 yards out. Maidenhead still pushing on with 10 men. Fair play to them. Steer onto his left foot, 25 yards out. It's a cross which hit Roberts on the arms, but he was right in front of him, and the referee, I think, rightly doesn't give it. Poor clearance by Rutherford, though. Massey launches straight back in. Poor ball. Jennings intercepts. Can he start something? Oh, he's struggling to control the bouncing ball, and he sort of pokes it wide and just lets Rutherford take over. Rutherford gives it back to Jennings, who hits a diagonal. He's looking for Bowden. Massey on a stretch stabs it away and can start a breakaway here down the left-hand side. Here goes Pritchard once more, running at Roberts. Strays it in too early. Manny Smith, educated header down to Wedgbury. And Wrexham have a bit of breathing space in their own area. Roberts feeds it forwards. Bowden, halfway line. That's good strength by Massey. Crowd wanted a foul. It wasn't. Christian Smith takes over in the middle of the pitch. He takes on and beats Wedgbury. Wedgbury now sticks to his task. Smith has to spread to the halfway line, right-hand side. Peters stands it up. Pearson does well to keep his eye on that as he's been backed into, and heads it away to Rutherford. Down to Kelly. Jennings, good movement by Wrexham up top. Jennings likes to play the ball over the top, but he took a bit too long and nearly found Bowden, but with a mishit pass. It's well read by Clerima, comes driving forwards himself. Tell you what, you wouldn't think Maidenhead have 10 men. They're continuing to push on. Here's the centre-back Clerima down the right-hand side. He's made space for a cross, chips it in, Dunn attacks it, takes it well. The early throw is on here. He bowls it to McCrath, 25 yards out from his own goal, but he's got his man isolated. Feeds it inside now. Holroyd, can he play the return to McCrath? McCrath's not really bombing on for him. Holroyd's driving into the centre. Automatey surely pulled his arm back. Ref was right there, didn't give it. And now, with an empty midfield, Automatey goes accelerating forwards on the right-hand side. He's 25 yards out. Pulls it back. Gets a little return pass from Clifton. Wrexham swarming around him. Maidenhead not pushing many men forward. Poor ball by Automatey. McCrath, the chance to play. Poor touch by him, though. And then the poor touch by Roberts is poked forwards. It's dropped to Pritchard. Lovely footwork by Pritchard until an excellent tackle by Wedgbury stops him. But now, on the overlap, it's a cross in by Steer. Good diving header by Jennings in the edge of a 6-yard box to get it clear. Frantic stuff, this. Wedgbury squares it to Kelly. Long ball forwards by Rutherford, looking for Bowden, who chases gamely. Clenniman just beats him to it. Bowden tackles him, and has he won a throw-in? Yes, he has. Great chasing by Bowden. But I tell you what, we're still having to dig it deep. Maidenhead, admirable spirit from them.
Yeah, they haven't given up at all, and to be honest, we're looking really sloppy now. I think under pressure, since the red card, especially, we're panicking, and actually, rather than just playing the ball around more, we've got the extra man. I don't know why we're rushing, and we've gone into long ball a bit too much now as well, rather than just keeping hold of the ball, making them work harder.
Absolutely, it's hard work this. We're halfway through the second half here on Calon FM. It's Wrexham 1, Maidenhead 0. Maidenhead down to 10 men, but you wouldn't think it. They are really trying to push on. Admirable performance by them. Throw-in which Jennings will take 30 yards out. He gets it back from Kelly and pokes it forwards, helped on by Rutherford. Bowden tries to make it his. Good strength there. He's worked it down the line. Wrexham with a throw-in, level the edge of the area. As Lucy said, Wrexham need to take advantage of the extra man, get the ball down, force Maidenhead's midfield back, and they're not managing to do it. Maidenhead have been really admirable in the second half. We've had 11 or 10. Throw in towards the corner flag, that's cute. Bowden on the goal line as you want a corner. He's trying to take on his man, it ricochets around. He has won a corner. And Bowden continues to put in a really good shift up top. Corner left-hand side then. Rutherford will take it. Maidenhead have left Hyde up front. Everyone else is defending. This cold December night. Rutherford, with the rain coming down, sweeps it in towards the near post. Dangerously, a great header by Massey. He's flicked it out for a corner on the other side. Again, Wrexham crowding the keeper. He's not dealing with it. And wow, good header by Massey now to get it clear.
Yeah, and I'm just wondering why we keep going into the box, really. If we'd be better pulling wide a little bit, just to free up some space in that box, rather than all the, like you said, all the Maidenhead players are just protecting the goalkeeper.
Yeah, it's you wonder, or at least just to pull the corner a bit further out, because the keeper can't get to it. Someone to attack in the 6-yard box, we're dropping it under the bar. Mind you, we are causing problems. Here's Kelly with the same ball in. Good header again by Massey. Edge of the Eddie McGrath brings it down and launches it so high over the bar. Oh, he's picked out someone 3 rows from the back. Well, that was a chance. So the second good header in a row by Massey, right under his bar, but McGrath had time on the edge of the box, brought it down and just slashed it, didn't he, really? I think the first one as well, the initial ball in, I think it just skimmed Pearson's head. But yeah, I think McGrath totally panicked there and under pressure and just skied it. So a change is made and Marks comes on, the big target man. He's replacing Hyde. That's interesting. Striker for a striker. Marks is less mobile, but certainly is a big aerial threat. Goal kick taken and Clifton's chasing after that. Kelly miscontrols in midfield, so here come up Maidenhead again. They want to throw in 20 yards out right hand side. Goodness me, this Wrexham side having to work hard for this. Will be taken by Steer, who's got a new big target. Marks in the box. He's told to go back a bit, about 30 yards out there, so he throws it in short. Clifton back to goal, works it back to Steer, and he stands it up. First chance of Marks to challenge. Manny Smith wins that well. Wedge in the edge area. It's a clever ball down the right now then. Can Wrexham break? An awkward bouncing ball from McGrath. He's scrapping away for it. A clear handball that by Peters on the blind side of the ref. The linesman didn't help the ref out at all, and Aidenhead are able to clear. Robertson, the brave header when it's played forwards. Manny Smith gets rid of it. It's Bowden back to goal, but he can't get to the ball. It's cleared, helped on by Pritchard, who's been very lively in the second half. Manny Smith, good foot in once more as Odomiti tries to break forwards. Marks tries a long range shot, takes a deflection of Frederick. Another awkward bouncer for Dunn, and he takes that comfortably. Oh, nerve-wracking that one. Another one when just spat up nastily at him. Yeah, I don't know why he let that one bounce as well, but his judgment's better than ours down there. Yeah, that was more comfortable, that wasn't, but the spin was nasty. The deflection from Marks's shot. Well, goal kick taken, free kick given to Maidenhead as Peters challenges in the air. Peters has been very dramatic, theatrical this afternoon, I think. Well, it worked that time, didn't it? He did get the decision. Yeah. Free kick 10 yards short of the halfway line. Massey stays back, but Clenimar's gone forwards. And the goalkeeper, Pentney, stands towards the edge of the area. Clermont helps it on dangerously, and Dunner's coming out here and manages to go down to the keeper at the feet of Pritchard and push it off his shins for a goal kick. But that was another edgy little moment for Wrexham, that, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was a fast ball in behind, and I think it was Roberts who lost his man, but Dunn did well there to force the ball back out off Maidenhead player for a Wrexham goal kick.
Yeah, he did. He was decisive there, coming off his line. And yeah, Pritchard was attacking it at the far post.
It hasn't been a quiet game for Dunn at all, really.
It certainly hasn't. He's certainly been he's earned his corn, hasn't he? Goal kick by him. Wedgbury surely climbed in. Yeah, referee gives that a sarcastic appreciation from the fans, and Wrexham will slow things down a bit, because despite being a man up and a goal up, they are having to work really, really hard for this. 74th minute. Wrexham 1, 10-man Maidenhead 0 here on Calon FM. Free kick on a halfway line, which Pearson will loft in towards the edge of the Maidenhead area. Maidenhead, despite being down to 10 men, left 2 men up for this. It's floated towards Manny Smith, bounces beyond him and beyond Kelly. It's chased by McCrath, who forces a hurried clearance through into Wrexham, level the edge of the area, right hand side. Again, Wrexham not rushing. They have time wasting substitutions up their sleeve. Roberts wanders across. The ball hasn't been retrieved from the crowd yet, I don't think. In fact, yeah, you can't blame Wrexham for time wasting here. There is no ball. And eventually the fourth official was about to throw it when it is thrown back from the crowd. So Roberts, ball in his hands. Bowden and McCrath split. Roberts still has the ball in his hands. Bowden makes a second run. Roberts still has the ball in his hands. He goes back into midfield after all that. Wedgbury digs out a switch to Jennings in a bit of space. This is where Wrexham should be able to profit if they're working it around like that. Maidenhead had no option but to drop off. Oh, Jennings' cross, though, hits Clifton as he charges it down in midfield, and Maidenhead again can try and build something. Go to Matey, will be useful to try and break forwards, but occasionally he's overrun it. McGrath, excellent pace by him, gets ahead of his man. Odomaty pulls him down. Referee gives the free kick to the centre of the Maidenhead players and bench. They've another change lined up. But, you know, all credit to Maidenhead. They've refused to let us kill this game off, haven't they?
Yeah, they haven't given up. They haven't stopped pressing. And right now, you wouldn't really tell that they were down to 10 men.
No, absolutely. They got Max Kilman lined up to come on. He was a fullback when we played him earlier in the season. Wonder if they're going to try. Oh, hang on, Pearson flicks on the header. Chance here for Jennings. Tight angle, slams it in. And Wrexham surely have got that bit of breathing space now. Free kick on the halfway line, launched in. Pearson helped it on. Jennings ran in behind the defence. Tight angle, went for power. A defender on the line, lunged, tried to get a foot to it, and only deflected it into the roof of the net. And, well, Maidenhead have been brave at 10 men, but now surely Wrexham are in a winning position.
Hopefully, and that was a great ball in. Initial free kick from Roberts, and to be honest, in the past we played good football prior to this season and come away unlucky, lost, all those things. I'd much rather be the way we are, tough to play, tough to beat, and take, you know, yeah, we haven't got an out-and-out striker who's banging in 30 goals, but actually, as a team, today's been a huge team effort.
Yeah, absolutely. By my reckoning, as it stands, we're now top of the table. Sutton are winning 1-0, Aldershot are drawing 0-0. So Wrexham and Sutton are on 42 each, Aldershot are on 40. Both Sutton and, well, Wrexham now have a goal difference of +8, Sutton of +7. So as things stand, I think Wrexham gone back on top of the tables. Manny Smith loses a header. Pearson gets a foot into it. We can't get rid of it properly, but Wedgbury does. Something gets to the halfway line. And now Maidenhead have it on the halfway line through Clemima, feeds it forwards, and Kilman has come on and is the subject of a rather wild challenge by Roberts. The referee allows it. It's not clear. Into midfield, Holroyd jumping, climbs on his man. Free kick on the halfway, and Andy Davis going spare down on the touchline as he doesn't like that decision. But Wrexham need to dig in here, not just to make sure they got the 3 points, but to maintain a 2-goal winning margin.
Yeah, completely. And with the top end of the table being so tight, goals do matter now.
Certainly
and goal
do.
difference in particular.
Wrexham's goal difference for a side that don't score goals is, of course, decent. Because we don't let in goals either.
Wow, Bromley there being tipped over.
Long ball in, it comes off Pearson last. Oh, and mix up at the back. It's a corner to Maidenhead. Pearson jumped 10 yards out and misjudged his header, headed it into the 6-yard box, but there was no danger. It was Dunn's ball. but Roberts stepped in ahead of him, headed it behind for a corner. Yeah, a couple of results going our way. Hartlepool are beating Macclesfield. They were 4th at the start of play. So, as things stand, Wrexham are top, we think. I've got an A-level in maths, so I'm not backing myself here. Corner comes in, it's cleared. But here's a chance now maybe for Clifton to deliver. Left corner of the box, swings it with that. That's a great ball towards the substitute. Kilman hits it in the side netting. Good volley by Kilman. It's a super ball then, but he just couldn't pull it inside the near post. And Wrexham survived.
Another, I'd say, half chance at least for Maidenhead. And Wrexham have had far less, but been clinical in the opportunities that they've had.
Yes, that's true, isn't it? Yeah. The corner was half cleared. It's a great ball back in by Clifton. And Kilman's efforts was close. Now, Wrexham make a change. It's Mark Carrington coming on to replace Sam Wedgbury. He's been in the wars in the second half because he took the clattering, which led to the red cards. So that'll be a straight swap. Carrington will hold in midfield. Done with the goal kick. It's 79th minute here on Calon FM. Wrexham 2, 10-man Maidenhead 0. As the ball is smashed away by Clerimat. Pearson will run it out of play for a throw level the edge of his own area, left-hand side. Essentially playing a sort of 4-1-3-1 now. Maidenhead, and admirably trying to commit men forwards.
They've got nothing to lose now, so...
Yeah. Throw in taken. The fans are singing we're top of the league, so they're obviously aware of what's going on at Sutton. Ball played forwards. Manny Smith again heads it clear. Bowden on the halfway line. Under pressure. Oh, it's a cute idea. He's managed to pick out Rutherford on the left flank. Lovely footwork by Rutherford. Going backwards to find Jennings. Jennings turns the defence looking for the run of Holroyd, who curves in behind the defence but is just beaten to it by Peters. Peters turns on the edge of his area. He wants to try and get the right ball forwards. He's done very well actually to turn, get out of trouble. Kelly intercepts, but Odomati picks up the loose ball. Kelly tackles again. It's a good game in the middle of the pitch, Kelly. Here's Jennings now on the halfway line. Looks up. Is there a switch on? No, there isn't. So he takes on and beats one man. Tries to beat on the second and wants a free kick. I think the ref's right not to give it. It was shoulder to shoulder, I think. Smith pays it forwards. Here's Kilman in the centre circle. He's forced to play it wide, where Steer, 30 yards out, squares it back inside. Christian Smith works it wide. Kilman now, 25 yards out, cutting inside onto his right foot. But he's left-footed, so he has to roll it to Smith. Wrexham keeping good shape here, just trying to keep Maidenhead at bay, trying to stop the cross coming in. Steer's done well to beat Robertson, puts a poor cross in, which Dunn allows to skip harmlessly behind for the goal kick. It's a chance for another change, an attacking change by Maidenhead. They're going to bring on Moses Emmanuel, who of course is on loan from Sutton. And he is going to replace Clifton, who's had a decent game, I think, Clifton up front. I'm quite glad to see the back of him. He's done well in the air, and he's put some good balls in from wide positions.
Yeah, he really has. And early on, he had a couple of good chances, so that could have changed the course of the game, really. So, but no, he's a big guy, and he has caused us a few problems.
Has been an awkward customer. Moses Emmanuel is going to the wide right position in that free behind the striker. Dunn takes the goal kick. Christian Smith can't get to it, and it's an awkward one for Clerimat to deal with. There's a back pedal and just about wins it. He's tackled by Bowden. It ricochets through to Christian Smith. Wins it the last 10 minutes here on Calon FM. Wrexham 2 goals to the good. There's Massey in his own half, working it out wide. Driven forwards by Steer on the stretch. Marks brings it down and Manny Smith out-muscles him. Loose ball falls to Emmanuel, who works out wide, and there's a chance for Kilman to cross. He brought it down well. Takes on Roberts. Roberts gets touch tight. Kilman's still there. Scoops a good cross to the side box. Header comes in and goes wide. It was a stooping header at first by Emmanuel. And Marks was trying to lunge to get something onto it, couldn't quite, but again, Maidenhead making chances, to be fair to them.
Yeah, I was going to say that's another chance, and again, if they'd have scored at least one of these, it could be a different game completely. And again, you're watching them and you don't feel like they've got a player less.
No,
But we have calmed down in the last 10 minutes, particularly since the goal. Around the red card, we were panicking and a bit sloppy.
Yeah, exactly. We needed that second goal. It has made a difference. Paul Hurst is getting ready to make his 200th career appearance. He's bouncing up and down, and the ball's gone out of play now, so Wrexham can make that change if they want to. They choose not to. So, throw in to Maidenhead, thrown down the flank. It's flicked on well by Marks. Good strength by Emmanuel to get to it, but it bounces off him for a throw. And Wrexham now will make that change, and Hurst will make his 200th career appearance. He will replace Jack McCrath, who's worked hard. I think that's an indication of how Wrexham are seeing this now. They're putting a defensive player on to try and shore things up. Kelly will go out wide. Hurst will go in the middle with Carrington, just to add a bit of physicality. Kelly will go left, Rutherford will go right.
That's a sensible change.
Yeah, I think so. I would enjoy a physical scrap between Hurst and Smith. Here is Hurst now knocking it over the top. That's a nice idea. Rutherford's on the chase here against Massey. He's got the pace to get there first. Rutherford hits his arm, surely. Linesman's given a corner. Right, okay. Rutherford's bouncing ball, had the pace to get there just ahead of Massey. Massey leaned into him. Rutherford appeared to inadvertently, but, clearly hook his arm around the ball and control it against his body. Not saying he meant it, but you've got to give a free kick for that, because he pretty much caught the ball. But the referee's given the corner. Linesman's right there. Kelly will swing it in. Wrexham of height beyond the far post. Hurst being pushed about. A lot really is being pushed about. Kelly swings a beauty and it's headed up in the air by Jennings, who jumps and makes a loose ball. That's a corner again, surely, yeah. It was swung in. Jennings lost his man in the 6-yard box, but mistimed his jump and ended it up in the air. Jumped again and forced a false header, which dropped behind for another corner. Masanka's ready to come on. I think he might enjoy this game. He won't have long to influence it, mind. Kelly spots it up. He's given the option of a short corner from Roberts, sprinting from the halfway line. Not taken. Lots of moves on the edge area from Hurst, who's lost his man again. It's swung under the bar. Good header clear. Rutherford volleys it back out to the left-hand side. Kelly brings it down. Rutherford spun out to give an option to him, but Kelly drills a great ball in. Holroyd tries an overhead kick. It's offside anyway. My goodness, that would have been a hell of a goal if it had gone in and wasn't offside. There's a lot of conditions in this one, because Holroyd was running towards the near post. It dropped the wrong side of him and he still tried to hook in an overhead kick. Put it just wide. Great effort that, wasn't it, though? Sums up his confidence.
Yeah, and Holroyd and Bowden both were in the same place there, so it wasn't Holroyd, but Bowden would have been on the end of that as well.
It's going to be Holroyd who comes off as well. And I think that's the right call. Holroyd's had an excellent game. He's earned the ovation. And I think leave Bowden on till the end. Give him the 90. Give him a chance maybe to scramble something in if we have a breakaway.
Yeah, I agree. And I think they can still aim for Bowden, and Masanka can still be running off Bowden's flicks.
5 minutes left here on Calon FM. Wrexham 2, Maidenhead United 0. Maidenhead down to 10 men. There's Wrexham closing in on top spot at the moment. Sutton still only 1 up. Aldershot still drawing. If it stays like that, the 2-goal margin, if Wrexham hold on to it, will put them top as Carrington tries to play over the top. Clenema intercepts as Masanka went after it. It's fed into midfield where Emmanuel is tackled well. First by Hurst, then by Carrington. Good ball by Rutherford. Here's a chance for a break. Bowden nearly put Masanka clear, but Nassy got the interception in. Wrexham now swarming around trying to win it back in midfield. Good passing by Maidenhead to bypass that. Kilman now on the halfway line, looks for options, pops it back to Christian Smith. Wrexham push up and squeeze a little bit. Smith works it wide. Good shape this from Wrexham, the old 2 banks of 4, and so when Smith plays it forwards, Manny Smith lunges and heads it clear. Not saying Smith's been decisive at the back for Wrexham, but he's won a hell of a lot.
Typical Manny, I would say.
Yeah.
So what we
It's just been Manny Smith today, hasn't it, really, in all honesty?
Yeah.
So Steer throws it down the line. Kilman does well to take it on the chest. He's been lively, Kilman, since he came on. He's 10 yards out, trying to beat Rutherford, and he does really well to sling a cross in. Jennings, though, can get it clear. Christian Smith, 30 yards out, brings it down on his left foot. Tries to play forward. Hurst intercepts. Masanka on chase gets there first, knocks it past Clenema. Tries to do him for pace. That's a good burst this by Masanka. He tries to go past Clenema again, and the centre-back did well. He didn't have the pace to deal with Masanka there, so he just about managed to push it out of play. But that's what Masanka can do off the bench, isn't it?
Impact sub, as we said pre-match. Now they're tiring, particularly a man down. Hopefully Masanka's going to cause them a lot of problems.
So, corner. What's that about? Throw in 20 yards out, left-hand side. Jennings will take it. Masanka's offering short, so too is Kelly, now playing on left when Kelly turns and flicks it beyond his man. Has he got the pace to get there? Not quite, and he fouls the man as well. There's a cheeky little manoeuvre by Kelly. Again, the fans have not taken to pieces. This great big armchair of a man who goes down at the slightest touch. To be fair, as we said before, he's bulky. So once you nudge him, you can't get back. The momentum's against him, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Look 50-50 from here, but
he's an unstable character, bless him.
Yeah.
Long ball forwards. Carrington can only flick it on in the wrong direction. Emmanuel helps on. Roberts intercepts it. A solid game too. Rutherford now to Carrington, who works it back to Roberts. He'll knock it long. Masanka will engage with Massey. Aerial ball. Masanka backs in really well, but can't quite take the ball with him. And so Steer can work it back to the Maidenhead skipper Massey, who drills it against Kilman. He hooks it forwards, flicked on by Marks. Pearson is there, thumps it clear. Bowden does really well to lay that down to Masanka. Return ball now. Bowden running in on goal. Great work by Cledemar. Just had enough pace to beat him to it. Otherwise, Bowden was clear on goal. Through in that edge area, right hand side. What a shame he couldn't quite get onto that.
Yeah. To be fair, it was a great ball through by Masanka, and I think if it had been Peters, that Bowden was running again, I think he'd have got there.
Oh, I think if it was Peters, I might have got there. So don't laugh that much. That was cruel. Throw in by Roberts. He gets a back chance to cross. He decides to pull it onto his left foot instead and goes back to Carrington. It's not a great ball. Carrington has to run back in midfield and beat Marks to it, and in the end his best option's back to Dunn. But Wrexham don't mind because this is game management, so Wrexham killing the clock here. Pearson to the halfway line. 90 seconds left. Good ball down the left flank. Masanka tries to hold off his man. He loses balance, but he's still fighting away and creates a loose ball. Referee, well, linesman actually said that he didn't keep it in. Throw in. Level the edge of the box to Maidenhead. Their own penalty area, that is. Sutton have scored a second, so we are not top now. We are second on goal scored. Throw in taken. Jennings helps it on. Of course, Wrexham score another now. We can go back top. As Hurst is fighting against Christian Smith, that physical scrap I wanted to see, and it ends with Hurst taking Smith's legs from under him. Free kick in midfield. Wedgbury wanders down the tunnel to a round of applause. He looks a bit shatters, frankly. He's taken a few kicks. As Hurst on the halfway line squeezes it forwards. He's looking for Masanka. Intercepted. Driven forwards. Pearson heads it on. He got a shove in the back. Great, only there. Ref doesn't give it. Linesman again doesn't help the referee out. And Maidenhead can come forwards down the left-hand side. It's picked up on the left corner of the box by Kilman, who turns onto his right foot, stands it up. That's a nice booking ball. Marks flicks it up in the air, and I think he's trying to help it on. Manny Smith accelerates onto the loose ball and smashes it clear. Masanka backs into his man, struggling to bring the ball down. Cledemar takes advantage of that just to poke it clear, and it's not long. Roberts and Kilman get underneath it, skims out of play. Right, we'll see how it went long. So he had, I think it'd be a fair amount. We had 6 substitutions in the second half. 4 minutes. 4 minutes to try and get that third goal for the first time this season. We've not scored 3 in this season. And trying to go top again.
Do you think the players will be aware?
No, I'm sure there won't be. And it doesn't really matter, does it? You know, we're halfway through the season, but it'd be nice, wouldn't it? Yeah. Exactly. Getting the points what matters. Masanka, excellent work in midfield, riding 2 challenges, and it's played over the top, and Bowden is chasing after this. Oh, it's an awkward bounce, nearly deceived Cledemar. He's done well to deal with that, and then stupidly tries to backheel it past Bowden, and fails, and Bowden, lovely footwork, drags it back, finds Rutherford. He stands it up, and the keeper gets that ahead of Masanka. Good work again by Bowden. Long ball forwards. Pearson underneath that. That's clever. He knows there's space around him, nods it down for Jennings. Jennings carries it to the halfway line and beyond, as Maidenhead haven't got anyone really covering that. He's driven on beyond Odomatin. He's driven on beyond Steer as well. It's a good run this. He's getting forward. Says he won a free kick. No, I think the referee's right. Jennings then lunges in. Oh, he's going to get a card for that. That was silly. Rush of blood to the head. He lunged in rather wildly on Odomatin and gets a yellow, and Wrexham finally get a bucking. Oh, lately he's managed to resist the daft yellow cards he's been getting this season, but there was no need for that, was there, really?
I think that was just a silly one, reacting to him losing the ball, and just didn't need to do it, did he?
That's exactly right. He lost the ball. I think he wanted a free kick. It wasn't a free kick. And I'm afraid he's got a rather daft yellow card there. It's a pity. Free kick taken. Pearson heads it into midfield. And it's picked up by Christian Smith, who's hassled by Carrington but manages to turn away from him. It's poked down the line. Kilman turns 30 yards out. He's got movement ahead of him, but Rutherford's got tight and stops him from playing it. It's knocked in long instead towards Marks by Smith, and a shot comes in from Emmanuel. Takes a deflection, goes behind of Emmanuel Smith for a corner right hand side. Just an indication of Jennings and his improved record. His last booking, because we got so many and got suspended, didn't he, was with this referee, funnily enough, at Halifax on the 3rd of October. I know he's been injured since, but that's 1, 2, 3, 4. This is his 7th game since. So he's managed to stay off the cards. Ball comes in, Pearson with 4th right header, and Masanka drops off in the halfway and picks it up and wants to go driving on. He's bounced off one man and he's nearly played in Rutherford. That was nice work, Masanka, on the break. Yeah, at least Jennings has shown a bit more discipline. He's, like I said, he's gone 7 games without a yellow. It's better than he was doing at the start of the season.
And I'd say it's probably the Keats effect.
Yeah. Well, I think he's told him in no uncertain terms, stop getting daft yellows.
Yeah, and he's probably seen as well, because the last game, last home game, I think Carrington played really well in those positions. Yeah. So I think there's a bit of threat there as well. Yeah, 5 yellows in his first 9 games from Jennings. So that's an improvement, isn't it? Throwing down the line, Masanka heads it up in the air. It'll be a throw in to Maidenhead, 30 yards out from their own goal. Right hand side, we're into the last minute of added time, and Wrexham may not go top of the league today, but are going to be equal top still, and are going to open up a little bit more of a gap on some of the teams below them. The ball's played back to Dunn. Dunn knocks it long, flicked on well by Carrington. Played in again towards Marks. Manny Smith engages with him in the air and forces it therefore to go back to the keeper. Dunn is not going to be in any rush to release this. He waits for the man to come to him before picking it up. Now bounces it ruminatively on the edge of the area. Aldershot have dropped 2 points. They've drawn away at Torquay 0-0. Long kick towards Masanka. He's beaten to it in the air by Massey. Roberts beaten to it by Kilman. Now Kilman on the breakaway. It's 3-on-3. He plays it in. Emmanuel 1-1 with the keeper. Sliding tackle by Pearson is superb and denies him. Excellent work by Pearson as Emmanuel was about to pull the trigger. And good work at the back by Manny Smith. And Wrexham close it out. They might not quite have gone top of the table today, but a pleasing win. The final score, Wrexham 2, Maidenhead 0.
You're listening to Wrexham Football Club commentary live on Calon FM, brought to you by the Wrexham AFC Media Team. Follow all of the action live and exclusive here on Calon FM. Listen on 105 FM, online at calonfm.com or via the TuneIn radio app. Follow us on Twitter at Calon FM and at Commentary WAFC. Wrexham AFC on Calon FM. Whenever, wherever.
Calon FM.
So, Wrexham win 2-0 against Maidenhead United. They benefited from the red card decision, and huge credit to the visitors who, well, throughout were a threat. They started the game well. Wrexham, after taking a lead in the 19th minute through Chris Holroyd, did get more of a grip on the first half, but the second half, Maidenhead came at us hard again. And like I say, they should be applauded for that. They suffered a red card when Ryan Upwards took Wedgbury out in the air, but they still, with 10 men, pushed on, and Wrexham needed that 75th minute goal by James Jennings just to make absolutely certain of the victory. They're still waiting on the final score from Sutton. As things stand, they will be top of the table ahead of Wrexham on goals scored. Wrexham and Sutton are equal on goal difference. Both sides are winning 2-0. Well, Wrexham have won 2-0, I beg your pardon. And they're in 4 minutes of added time, Sutton. So anyway, let's focus just on this. Maidenhead asked us questions, Lucy, didn't they, quite frankly? But, well, we showed resolve in managing to close her out.
Yeah, we really did. All credit to Maidenhead, especially after the red card. But we didn't crumble. We did have a spell of sloppiness, but we were so organised, so disciplined. Apart from Jennings' silly yellow card at the end, I think we're really starting to look like a team now. And overall, it was a really good performance. And I know you're going to be asking me about man of the match, but as we've just talked about, I think there's quite a few candidates who who had a really good game.
But before we jump onto that, Sutton have won 2-0. So we're second on goals scored, which you certainly will take at this halfway point in the season. And it was, okay, then let's have a look through the performances then, maybe before you pick man of the match. Who are your contenders?
My contenders, definitely Manny. I mean, but we come to expect that of Manny. I don't think he made a mistake the entire game. But so is that unfair on Manny that we just expect such a high standard of him now? Wedgbury was everywhere until he was taken off to subbed, and he was in the war zone as well. Yeah. I think Rutherford had a really good game, didn't stop running again. Bowden, considering we said pre-match, we didn't really even know he played in the other matches. For me, his is probably, I'd probably give him man of the match purely because his was such a big jump from how he's performed in the past to today, whereas Rutherford's had good games, Manny's had good games, Wedgbury has, Holroyd has a really good finish from Holroyd. So I'd probably give it to Bowden, to be honest, just because of how much I think he's improved, or not necessarily improved, but just because he started and he seems to be confident.
He certainly was a different man, I think, wasn't he? He was holding her up. He did well in the air on occasions. He had a couple of chances. Shame he wasn't able to take them. But
him and Holroyd linked up really well.
Yeah, their understanding was really nice, wasn't it? And like we saw in pre-season, little first-time flicks around the corner by Bowden, little bits of skill to hold the ball up and release it at the right time were coming off, and that was quite encouraging, that from him, wasn't it? So, pleasing to see him step his game up in that manner.
Yeah, particularly with Reid going back to Fleetwood, and as again we discussed pre-match, Reid didn't have the best second half of the loan spell, but it's good because Bowden has stepped up there today and was in the game more than Reid had been in quite a while, and so I think, and we can see from the game why Masanka was coming on as an impact player, and like I said, Bowden and Holroyd linked up really well.
Yeah, it's interesting that he got the nod. He hasn't started in 8 games, he's only come on 3 times in those 8 games for a total of 32 minutes, so he's really not been, he's been unused sub in 5 of our last 8 matches. So interesting call to put him in there, and he came up trumps. Although, just to make you feel guilty, I'll point out, I don't know, I've kept a record of how many man of the matches you kept this season. I don't know what I'll ever do with that. And Wedgbury's never had a man of the match this season from us.
Really?
Poor lad. Can't change your mind now. It's written in stone.
Yeah. He did have a good game though too. He did have a good game.
He did, didn't he? But Bowden, I think, to be fair to him, I think, as you say, that extra added emotional impact of the way that, he needed a good performance and put it in, didn't he? Well, Kelly did well in the centre of the pitch as well.
Yeah, and I think starting is quite interesting because Kelly seemed to be playing deeper than Wedgbury, whereas I would have had them the other way round. But again, it was effective and it worked, and I think all credit to Dean and to Carl and Andy for the team they put out and the way they've set Wrexham up, because it'd be interested to know how many chances we did actually have, because I don't feel like we had that many, but we were clinical in the chances we did have. So whereas Maidenhead had more chances but just weren't clinical.
Yeah, that's a fair summation of the game, I think, wasn't it? Good effort by Maidenhead. They get credit from it, but Wrexham go or stay equal top of the table. And so I'll hand back to the studio with the final score: Wrexham 2, Maidenhead United 0.